So welcome everybody. Hope you all hear me. Happy New Year. We're hoping it's a Happy New Year, Anyway, I'd just like to remind everybody that this meeting is being broadcast live on our YouTube channel. Would councillors please leave their video on so that members of the public can be sure that you're eligible to vote, and also to make sure that it's you that's there as well, which is an interesting one, but there you go. Do we have any apologies for absence, Madam Clerk?
We've got Jane, NHS key worker. She's very busy at the moment. Jenny has got an urgent family commitment. Rob has got an urgent work problem commitment. And Linda has had a fall and hurt her back. So she's not well.
I tried to call her earlier. Okay, no more.
Yeah. Got Adrian's.
Adrian's keeps dipping in and out. He's just coming back in again.
Yeah. In fact, there's two Adrian Feltons here, so we need to find out what's one there, which one's working and which one isn't.
Good evening. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries.
Technical problems.
We've just had apologies, so we'll move on to the next item now. The next item is parishioners' concerns. Have we got any matters to be raised by members of the public? Do you know any, Denise?
If I have, they'll be under correspondence.
Okay.
So just have a quick look.
I'm just wondering what Doug's here for, apart from just perhaps listening to what we're doing. No? Okay, Doug. That's no good. So.
Thanks for the comment, Peter.
No, okay, no worries. The next thing is the District Council's report. We've got District Councillor Joe with us. He's not with us, is he, tonight?
It's just coming in. Just
coming in, so we'll just hold on 2 seconds for Joe to arrive. There we go. So, that's it. Hello, Joe, you're on. Mate, you should just hit your part. So.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. So we're just on District Council's report, Joe. And Linda's not in. She's ill. She's hurt her back. She's fell over and hurt herself.
Right, okay, yeah, I hope she gets better soon. I need to have a catch up with Linda actually tomorrow. But yeah, in terms of District Council stuff, over Christmas it was very busy. So as we'll discuss probably later in the agenda, over Christmas, the Food for Ending scheme delivered provisions to 31 households across both Brown Edge and Ending combined. So we had two schemes. We had the weekly fruit and veg bags that we do anyway on Tuesdays, but we had special Christmas ones that were suggested donation of £5, and they contained fruit and veg and some Christmas extras. And also what we did is we got the children at St Luke's Primary School, St Luke's Academy, in Endon. They made some Christmas cards that went up alongside the food bags as well, and they had prayer cards in, so it cheered up a lot of people. And then on Christmas Eve, we also delivered Christmas dinners to 15 households altogether across both villages. It's mostly in Brown Edge, actually, the 15 were. So, you know, a lot of people in Brown Edge benefited from them. And those Christmas dinners were just they were a 3-course dinner that had been prepared in a COVID secure kitchen at Targate Community Centre by a lady called Claire, who's a professionally trained chef. So yeah, that was a big success. And again, yeah, it cheered up a lot of people. And I think, yeah, I've had a lot of really positive feedback from people who were very grateful for both of the schemes in some cases, because, you know, people were obviously feeling low over Christmas and needed something to cheer them up. So yeah, and obviously a massive thank you to Hargate for preparing the bags and the Christmas dinners, because obviously it's benefited a lot of people. So yeah, I'm really glad we did that, and thank you to everyone who helped promote that to people across the parish. I also wanted to say in my report, I know you'll probably discuss this later, but I want to just say in my report, a massive thanks to Rob and his team and the Carnival Committee who organised the Santa visit, because I did, as Peter will know, I stood by the village hall for a good hour in the freezing cold waiting for Santa because I wasn't sure what time it was going to come to the village hall. Ended up chatting to a really nice young family and about climate change, funnily enough. It was really weird, of all things. And yes, it was really good. So yeah, I think that was really beneficial. Yeah, and that's really it in terms of stuff that happened over Christmas for Brownedge. A lot of stuff happened, of course, in Endon as well. So, you know, I'm really proud of both villages because I think over Christmas, I think everyone stepped up to the plate. And I know that Linda, if she would hear, she would also update you to say that she's obviously, as a lot of you will be aware, Linda has done some food hampers that have gone to, you know, a lot of vulnerable families at St Anne's Primary School. And I know that that's benefited a lot of the families and some of the elderly people in the village. So a massive thank you to Linda, who worked really hard behind the scenes to do that with other people in the village, because I know we've discussed it in previous meetings. So yeah, just want to say it's amazing to see our community pull together so strongly during this difficult time, particularly over Christmas. So yeah, brilliant. In terms of district council specific stuff, obviously, as a lot of you will be aware, we are responsible for issuing the business grants. The government have just announced a large amount of money that they're giving to us at the district council, and our team, our regeneration team and all the finance team, they're working very hard around the clock at the moment to process all the information regarding the business grants, and that information will be released in the coming days. If people want information about that, any local businesses, they simply need to visit the Coronavirus Information Hub. All the information will be updated on there and on our social media feeds. But there are still grants that are open, that are available, that people can apply for, because my inbox has been full of people from local businesses asking for advice about applying for grants, because I know businesses are obviously really struggling at the moment. So once that information is available, please do promote it to any local businesses that you know that need help, because you know it's going to be a lifeline to businesses in the difficult weeks ahead during the lockdown. Yeah, and another key thing that's relevant to the district council, because we've obviously got, you know, we run the country, a lot of the country parks locally, is, as you might have seen in the national restrictions for the lockdown, people are not permitted to travel for exercise outside their local area. Now, I had some residents contacting me for absolute clarity on this. I just thought I'd mention it in the meeting in case any of you have had the same. So I sought some clarity on it. The word local basically means that you shouldn't travel outside of your village or town, or if someone lived in a city, that part of the city it would be. So it basically means, for example, you know, somebody from Brownedge couldn't get in their car and drive to the Roaches, for example. That would be against the lockdown rules, according to the police, because I've chatted to them about this. But obviously, you know, people are encouraged to exercise, you know, once a day, which is what the guidelines say, but it's best to stick to local areas, you know, where possible, unless there's like an emergency or whatever. So yeah, just thought I'd give you that information, because obviously it affects things like country parks and the countryside, because in the last lockdown, we had a lot of people from outside the Staffordshire Moorlands coming in to visit, and it caused a lot of problems. So I think that's why the government has probably gone for, you know, for this rule, which, yeah, it is regrettable in the situation we're in, but it's understandable that they've done what they've done with that one. Yeah. And I think a lot of the other COVID-related stuff, like the testing and the vaccinations, that will be, I think Keith will have an update about that, because that's more county-related. But obviously, the district council, the other key thing I will just mention is we will, of course, be supporting the community hubs. So, you know, you've got the hubs, so you've got the one in Leet, you've got Hargate, you've got the Biddulph Youth Zone, and then you've got the one in Cheadle, and we'll continue to support those hubs and also all the other smaller hubs across the Staffordshire Moorlands in the during the lockdown, and obviously we'll be working very closely with Support Staffordshire to ensure that people get the help they need, because we are expecting over the next few weeks that the food bank's demands are going to continually increase. And I will just mention as well, regard to the food bank, every week on Tuesdays when I go to Harrogate to collect the food bags, I've said on my Facebook page that I am more than happy to drop off any donations for the Leakin District Food Bank from any local residents that want to give donations. I'm happy to drop those off on Tuesday mornings as a new scheme that I'm running to try and support the food bank, because they are in need of supplies. I mean, yesterday I took a massive boot full of pet food, because pet food's very expensive. So I took a load of pet food from a couple of people who donated it. So if anyone wants to make donations like that across the parish, I'm more than happy to take it to the food banks. It's an arrangement I've arranged with them. But unless anyone's got any questions, that's my update regarding district council related stuff.
First of all, Nigel's got a question, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Joe, with the playground area on the first lockdown, we locked that area, locked all the swings up and all that type of thing. Is that something we've got to do, or
not as far as I'm aware? But what I will do, I will get you some absolute clarity on that by speaking
Joe, I've checked today. In fact, the Prime Minister said that you don't have to lock playgrounds down.
No, I didn't think so. No, because the thing is, obviously, we want to allow people. People need to be able to exercise once a day, and if that means children can go to the playground, I suppose that's probably why they've been a bit looser on that.
Yeah, and I think Sarah got a point that she wanted to raise as well with you.
Hi, Joe. I was just going to ask, when obviously with the third lockdown now, the COVID group that we've got going is, still running and is still, we're trying to get the word out as much as possible, because we've got all the sort of infrastructure in place for a huge surge of help, but really people are being quite independent, and I think they're sort of relying on either themselves or the friends. So we really want to get it out as much as we possibly can. And the first time round, which was 9 or 10 months ago now, we put the information in the parish magazine, and that went out to every single household. But I do think that potentially it would be worthwhile us putting something through everybody's doors again that's just specifically about the coronavirus, support that we can offer. So, we can organise that in there, but there's a cost attached to that in obviously printing off the information. And I was just wondering whether you knew of any, or maybe Keith, knows of any place that we can go to request some help for that funding. And then the other thing I was going to ask is, you mentioned about how the children at St Luke's wrote a note in with the hot meals, which is really nice. One thing that we talked about when we first launched the COVID group was to help with the loneliness element, and especially with it being winter now, it's possibly people are going to feel a bit more lonely. And one of the things we talked about was maybe doing a sort of a match-up between older people on the village and the young people on the village, sort of introducing almost like a pen pal thing, where they could write to each other, tell each other stories, and then maybe in the future they could meet up when it's safe to do so. So I'd like to talk to you about that if possible, just pulling on your experience with this writing the notes with St Luke's. But if there's anything that we can apply for or to help us with getting the information, because of course we can put it on, we've put something on the Brownish Parish Council page, and we've repeatedly put stuff on the Brown Edges group, but a lot of our residents aren't on Facebook. Yeah. So, I think a leaflet drop is the best way to get that info out again.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in Endon, it's the exact same. You've got that older demographic who prefer not to use social media, who might not necessarily get the messages. So I think putting something out is absolutely vital. We need to just double. If I'm honest, I'm not 100% sure about the rules on distributing stuff. I'm pretty sure it'd be allowed if it's a support group giving out information. I'm pretty sure, but I'm going to check for absolute clarity on that, because obviously that's really important. It might be a case that we all just need to make sure we wear gloves or whatever when we're delivering. Although, would it be in winter, who wouldn't wear gloves? You know, it'd be daft if you didn't, otherwise your hands would be frozen whilst delivering them. But yeah, in terms of funds, again, I can look into it. I mean, I haven't got anything left in my community initiative fund because I've had more demands than funds, unfortunately. Again, sorry to pass this over to you, Keith, but Keith may possibly have some account, I don't know, but I'll let him say on that one. But I will do my best to look into it from a district council point of view, because my colleague Mark Forrester, who's the head of Community and Democratic Services, he has got a pot of money that are used for things like this to support the main hub. So it may be possible that we can give some of those funds out to the smaller hubs like the Brown Edge one that you're running, Sarah, and I'll see whether that's possible, because I think we should consider doing that at the district council, if I'm honest, because we've given money out to Harrogate and Biddulph Youth Zone and the one in Cheadle, but we haven't given money out to the smaller ones, and yet the smaller ones perhaps might need some. So I'm going to raise that at Cabinet, if you don't mind, and ask Cabinet whether we could look into that as a possibility. No guarantees, but I will raise it on your behalf and see what can be done. Regarding your other idea, I think that's an amazing idea. Intergenerational projects, it's, something that I've always been passionate about. I know obviously you're passionate about, and everyone in this room will be. If there's anything I can do to support that, we can, if you want to have a meeting with me outside this, very happy to do that, because it's something that's a personal passion of mine. And obviously, with regard to sending out the pack, they also forgot to say, if you do that, I'd be grateful if I could put in an insert flyer advertising the Food for Ending scheme as well, so that, because there were a number of people in Brown Edge who had the Christmas dinners who were previously unidentified vulnerable people who perhaps I didn't realise, I don't know if you did or not, but there were people who were perhaps hidden. And that's my concern, the fact that we might have people who are, struggling, but they're hidden behind closed doors. And it's hard to reach those people, obviously, at the moment. And they don't like asking for help. So not easy to try and identify those people. But when we do, I think we've got to do everything we can to help them. So, happy to help with that. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Adrian got his hand up before. So, Adrian, you got something to raise?
Hi, I just wanted to clarify, Joe, and it's coming back to the exercise element and staying within the local area. A lot of exercise, running, jogging, cycling, even walking, even if we were back at the first lockdown restriction of an hour, would take you certainly outside the boundaries of Brown Edge Village. And it's just to seek clarity that, we understand that you can't travel out of the area, but
in a car.
Yeah, and I think that has to be the clear guideline. And that was what the guys from Congleton Mountain Bike Club used last time. So they actually stated, if you don't need a car to get there, then ultimately, and we're not encouraging people to ride for 5 or 6 hours, by the way, but it's sort of a ride from here to Chatley Whitfield and back, that kind of thing, Joe, that would be a normal daily hours exercise for a lot of people, or a run even.
Exactly. I mean, put it this way, I do 20k runs along the canal, every week. I can do that. That's allowed within the rules because I'm running locally, but and because it's along the canal, it's away from everything else. So I don't know. For me, that sort of thing that you're talking about, requires a bit of common sense, really, doesn't it?
It does, but there's a lot of people that can't apply that.
Unfortunately, yes. Like I say, the rule mainly applies to cars. If you're traveling in a car to exercise, that's the problem, because you might, because you're traveling in a car, you can obviously travel further distance away. I think that's why they've imposed it. But also, during the last lockdown, there was loads of people who would travel to the Roaches. I keep using the Roaches, but I would say that's probably the example that the police.
The reason I asked the question, during the second lockdown, they changed the rules around exercise. So the first lockdown was an hour.
Yeah.
Then during the second lockdown, the rules changed, and actually it stated that if the journey in your car is less than the exercise period in time, then it was allowed and permissible. And that's where everything became very unclear.
Yeah.
And that's why I was asking for clarity this time.
It
I
is
absolutely understand it now. And if I get asked, I can answer the question.
No, exactly. I mean, it took me absolutely ages to figure it out. I had to speak to the police. I had to dissect it because I thought to myself, people are going to be asking me questions about this. And it's one of those things where, people like us in our positions, we need to be absolutely crystal clear about these kind of rules, because people ask us. And, you know what I mean? Like, we have to be seen to be, and we're role models. We're setting an example to others. And if we're seen breaking the rules in any way, it's not good. So it's a tricky one. You have to make sure you know the rules back to front.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the reason. But thank you for the clarification.
Just need to move on here. So, Karen?
Sarah, I was just wondering what the anticipated costs are. I'm totally in agreement with you with us pushing stuff through the door again. But what's the anticipated cost?
Not sure yet, Karen. The idea was to ask Joe if there was anything there, and then I could work out something to put to him. But it would be black and white, single sheet A4. So,
and also to Joe, if you're putting a flyer out, could we not just combine the two on one A4 piece of paper? And if you're printing off, you can print all ours off with your fund.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting there. All right, everyone. We've had a good discussion there about all kinds of stuff. So thanks for that, Joe.
Sorry, that was a bit long.
Okay, so we'll just move on. There is a big agenda tonight, so we just have to prepare. There's a lot of stuff we could talk about. Keith, you're next.
Mine's going to be at least 5 hours long, Peter. I hope you find, what we're going to be talking about for the next. In fact, I was hoping that maybe 222 could come up, 2022, and we'll be all safe by the end of the meeting. It would be a nice idea, wouldn't it? Anyway, serious matters to start with. COVID. There's still an awful lot of thinking going on. I think Joe's already sort of explained that to you, that the officers are going away, milling over what happened on Monday. What the national lockdown means and everything else. I was throwing this around when people asked questions. That's from the Staffordshire Parish Council Association. They're the things that must close. They're the things that will close. I'm sure Denise has probably got this and can send it round to you all. That would help a little bit, I think. So I think we do need to do that. Letters have gone out and been mentioned on news items, both with MPs and with the local leaders. Abby and Alan have been writing letters stating that, they need to try and minimise what's going on. The good news, and there is some good news in this, is the infection rates in the moorlands is still quite low in comparison to other areas. So we're still, I think when it was on the news this evening, it was 288, but it's been somewhere between 220, 217, I think was the lowest about 2 weeks ago. And it hasn't yet gone over 300. Now, I know that in many other areas, particularly the south of the county at the moment, it's over 500 plus. So, we're still half the rate as where all these other things are going. I'm hoping that if we keep ourselves to ourselves and we do what we can do for the community and keep everyone away from each other, that we'll keep in that sort of ballpark at the very worst. I don't really want this new strain to take hold here. So I'm hoping that will be the case. And because of that, as Joe's already mentioned, the community hubs have all moved south at the moment. There are no hotspots at the moment listed in the moorlands. Okay. If that changes, I'll let you know as soon as I can. And obviously, I think some of you, particularly Peter, Sarah, related to the village hall, might know before I do. If you get the phone call, if you could let me know, because obviously that means that things have changed quite drastically from a few days ago. So there's
just on that, Keith. Just on that, sorry to interrupt. Just on that, we have had a phone call today. asking us if we can accommodate, and we're going to do it different this time. They're going to do at least 5 rows of people being done, so it's like real much more mass.
Right.
You know, so they're probably going to trying to get 500 or 600 people tested in a day, and they want village halls that can deal with that, and we can cope with that quite easy up there, as you know.
It's the new tests as well, isn't it? It's the one that you can get almost instantaneous. So I know that they're doing it. I know schools have got piles of them all over the place as well. My wife works at a school which has got thousands of tests, and of course the children's aren't coming back now.
That's right.
So obviously those tests have got to be moved from schools back out probably to the community, which is probably the reason for the phone call.
That's exactly what I think's happening. Yeah.
The other thing is vaccinations. I'm not sure where they're happening at the moment. There were 3 hospitals mentioned. I sent out an email to you via the clerk about the 3 hospitals where vaccinations had already started from the previous vaccination. I can't remember the Zeneca, the one that's now come in. I'm not sure where that's going to be used. I'm hoping that some of that will come out in community centres, and that there will be people that can start getting these numbers up on these over 70s, over 60s. I hope the over 60s as well, which I was just between this meeting and the last meeting. I've now entered that group, by the way. So
updated there, Keith, as well. People who are at Norton and Endon surgery, who are over 80 have been done.
That's good. I don't know about the second jab. My mother has
exactly. Second jab, we don't know about that.
No,
but it hasn't been cancelled yet.
I'm hoping to call my mum after this meeting, because I think her second jab will be postponed as well. I'm not sure, depending on which of the 2 jabs that she's having at the moment. So we'll see what happens on that one.
We've got people in Brown Edge who've had the second jab this week.
Right.
Yeah, the second jab in this week.
I think if it's the first one that's held at low temperature, they might well complete the second round of those jabs, because they're more technical than the other ones.
That's
so
right.
I think it might relate to the Zeneca ones rather than what's already been done. Anyway, sorry about this speculation, but this is just what I've been picking up in the background. So I just thought we'd have a discussion on all that. And I will be expecting some information before the end of this week. That's the main point about what we're going to try and do in relation to what's going on. And I think it's important that I keep in touch with you and all the other parish and town councils just to find out what's going on those fronts. So I will now go on to other topics, unless there's questions to do with COVID.
Okay.
No, right. There's an issue about grit bins that are bordering your area at the moment. I'm trying to find out what's happened. I think during the cold snap over Christmas, lots of people use the grit bins themselves locally. Certainly in Biddulph, that seemed to be the case. And I've been asking for several days now for those bins to be refilled. So if anyone can let me know what the situation is in Brown Edge, I would appreciate that. If anyone can let me know before the end of the meeting, that'd even be better. In terms of my DHP at the moment, I did talk to Denise, and I think we may have to talk about this at the proposed surgery, which I'll come on to later on. But the idea of both the meeting with the school, trying to set up a High Lane group, looking at other issues as well in and around Brown Edge, and the junction at the end of Sandy. Well, I think they're the 3 projects that we've got under the DHP, which I told you back in November. The reason I'm bringing it up now is that money, if at all possible, needs to be spent by the end of March, guys. So we need to move on, because obviously it's allocated in each financial year. And because it's the end of a 4-year cycle, God knows what's going to happen with the elections at the moment and leafleting. I think me and Joe maybe Joe might have some more information about that soon, but I haven't heard anything yet. But basically, I need to make sure that at least those projects are up and running prior to the election period, please, if that's possible, Peter. Thank you. There's been quite a lot of issues. There's a massive issue where the CEO and everyone else got involved at the county district in relation to Bermondsey Road, which was just outside your area, linking up to Knipersley, South Biddulph. And that went on for about 4 or 5 days. I was trying to find out what was going on and everything else. In the end, I found out that it wasn't in Staffordshire area. It was in Stoke-on-Trent area. So there we go. So I spent a whole week working on behalf of Stoke-on-Trent City Council. I don't know what's happened to that. It does appear to be reopened now on that one. but apparently there's a block road there at the, you know, just on the edge of your area for many a week. And the diversion was costing people lots of money and time. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know I wasted quite a lot of time doing that, although I hope the solution's now been done. Similarly, the thing about Fiddler's Bank and everything else, I know that's been mentioned on Facebook. It's been mentioned in the minutes and all the rest of it. I've now talked to David Williams. I haven't talked to him yet. I've sent him emails and he's responded back, but he hasn't really given me any more information because he was quoted. I think he was actually quoted as saying something on Facebook, which is a slightly, well, I wouldn't say annoying or anything else, but it would be nice for me to have known about any comments if he had made any comments. So I'm trying to verify what's been happening in relation to that particular issue at the moment. I know it's ongoing. He suggested in the end, you'll be glad to know, he suggested it in the end that we just make sure that you get on with it. I didn't know how that would go down, like a lead balloon or something. I don't know, but maybe we could add it to the urgent DHP items just as an aside to find out what's happening with that. But I think it's important that we do try and have up some sort of long-term solution to that. In terms of what else have I got to do today? The rail feasibility report and everything else should be coming under the and Joe might make this transport side of the climate change things as well. So I do think it's important that any rail links or anything like that are considered under that remit as well. So we'll see what happens on that one. Of course, that comes under transport. The other things that have been going out at the moment is there's a Do It to Feel Good campaign. So hopefully Adrian and others can get their bikes out and start getting some of us trained up to be able to cycle longer. As I say, those that can exercise for an hour, that's Adrian and Joe. Can I just say how lucky you are? You are able to be able to cycle for an hour. I think that you sort of come over as being as though it's perfectly natural to exercise for a long period of time for an hour to keep fit. I can tell you, when you get a little bit older, guys, a little bit older, these things start going, your knees and everything else. If 10 minutes and you're more or less at it by the time anyway. So, yeah, some of us won't get 500 miles away from our homes and back in an hour. And we will be doing it locally, okay? We won't be doing 20 Ks or 500-mile round trips like my dad used to, anything else. Now, on a serious note, there was a new Survive project that was started out through the strategic group that looks after families and social care and everything else within the Moorlands. And that was to do with sexual abuse service and everything else. So that was launched. It's got a new website, new web address and everything else. I sent the details out of that as well. In terms of monies, I'm going a little bit back to COVID, as well as the district council. The county council also gave additional grant money to both the major centres around here. So that's Haregate and the Biddulph zone. Unfortunately, my own community fund was closed on October the 30th, I think, and the other one was closed on November the 9th. The reason for that, and I just wanted to mention this, is because of the election campaign, PERDA, and year end. We got to spend the money by the end of this year end, and then you've got this PERDA issue on top as well. So we're not allowed to give out funds as county councillors during what could be a crucial period. Now, I have included this observation in my all-party working group conclusion, and I've got a meeting at cabinet, informal cabinet, in a couple of weeks' time, and there has been some idea about how we can externalise any funds that are left, and then that would then exactly suit what you and Sarah are doing. Yep. My advice at the moment: spend the money, do what you need to do, get those leaflets out, and myself and Joe and Linda will probably bend over backwards to make sure that you're not at any loss on any of this. Am I right in that, Joe? I think that would be the easier thing to do at the moment. As you say, I don't think it's going to be high cost. And I'm sure somewhere along the line, there'll be something that we can collectively do about it. That would be my advice on that particular idea. In terms of crowding, although I know Adrian said about Congleton and up that way, there is a massive issue at the moment about access to Cannock Chase because it's so close to the south. So there are areas where there are issues about people turning up in very large numbers at weekends to walk and cycle and do these other things. And they have been on a couple of occasions on the verge of closing Cannock Chase because of the crowding on some of the pathways and routes. in and around there. So I do think there is an issue on this, which we need to be aware of. And don't forget, they did close the open market in Nottingham just before Christmas because of those same situations, that people were crowding without face masks in open areas. So there are other issues. So we've got to be a little bit tropical on that. In terms of on the side, neighbourhood plan, just to let you know, Peter, that and whether it comes up later or not, that we are just doing our final consultation before going into Reg 14. Okay, so that's happening over the next 3 weeks, and I'll keep you abreast of what we might get back from that and what's happening on that front. Apologies to Adrian, I haven't managed to give you a ring, or I did try. I think I tried you once, but anyway, I do need to call you because we got the climate change subcommittee meeting on Monday evening, and I do want to talk to you before then. So please take note of that. Drop-in session. I've had a word with Denise, and Denise, are you happy with the Saturday the 16th at that time that we mentioned, which I think was about 11 o'clock? Is that okay? Yeah, okay, brilliant. I think that was it. Oh, and there was one other thing. Sorry, I did just to let you know about food for children and poor families and everything else. The £15 voucher scheme that was launched in October, they did carry that forward to the Christmas period as well. So families and others that needed support did get an extra £15 or more voucher over the Christmas period as well. So the county council did take that forward, and will probably do the same at the next half term and Easter break as well. But that's all the information I think I've had in the last few weeks. Was that quick enough for you, Peter?
Yeah, that's fine. Karen, you got something to say?
Yeah, the grit bin, Keith, in Hammond Avenue needs filling up.
Yeah, I think most of them will do now. But anyway, yeah, okay, yeah. Haven't you? Any others?
Phil has got a point to raise as well. Phil?
Yeah, just really nothing about that. But you're coming through a bit muffled, Pete, to me. And I've just had a message from Dave McGrath saying he can't tell a word you're saying via YouTube, but everybody else is coming through quite clear.
Oh, me?
No, you're coming through clear. The chair is coming through. He can't tell a word that's being said on YouTube. And he is a little bit muffled for me on Zoom.
Oh.
Okay.
You're fine, Keith.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I can't do anything about that. So I will get another microphone for the future. Can't do anything about it now. Sorry about that.
I can hear everyone clearly.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear everyone fine.
Yeah, so I don't understand. But anyway, I'll get a proper microphone for next time. Neil?
Bank End and Overland Drive need grit. Please.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's where people do want to clear the pavement near their houses. I think quite a lot's got 2 or 3 days, half melt. Yeah. Okay.
I can go and have a look at the one at the top, St Anne's Vale. I saw people taking some grit out of it for Joe's pool, but I'm not sure if it's empty. But I'll go and have a look for you, Keith.
Okay. All right. Well, as I say, I think all I really want them to do is to come round with the gritter filler truck and fill them all up. That's what we need. So I'll.
That's exactly what we need. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll make sure. I'll try yet again. I've tried 3 times already, but I'll try again. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda. Thank you very much. There was a time when we occasionally saw a county councillor once every 4 years, just before election, and we occasionally got a district councillor. I've just got to say that you're both of you, all 3 councillors, the involvement in Brown Edge is absolutely incredible. So it really is. I just want to say thank you very much for your support. And it's I just can't remember a time. We were served well by I've got Christina, but I've got to say there's been the time when we've had all 3 councillors working as well as this. Well, thank you for it.
Thank you, Peter. I think I've only missed 1 meeting, so
yeah, no, yeah.
What we're here for.
So let's move on. Thank you very much. Next item is declaration of interest on forthcoming agenda items.
Well, can I just say thanks to Joe as well for doing all the work that he's doing as well. Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
I'll help out as much as I can do, Joe. You know where I am. I will assist as required.
Okay, so declaration of interest on forthcoming agenda items. Have we got anything for that?
Maintenance.
Yeah. Okay, so when anything comes up, please raise it if you feel that it's it needs raising as under declaration of interest. Next item is approval of minutes to the previous meeting. Extraordinary meeting held on Wednesday, the 25th of November, which is Appendix 1. You should all have a copy of that. Can somebody move them, please? You want somebody to move that for me, or?
Yeah.
You've all had time to look at it. Karen, thank you. I've got a seconder for that. So, well, Neil will take Neil as seconder for that. The ordinary meeting held on Wednesday, the 2nd of December 2020. Have we've got a proposal for accepting those? Okay, and we've got a seconder for that. So that's Sarah and Neil. Thank you. Matters arising from previous meeting. Dates for cemetery working group meeting. Have we got one set yet, or are we setting one tonight, please?
Whichever date, I don't mind.
Okay. So we want it to be, it wants to be in the light, so it'll have to be at the weekend. Yeah.
We're not going anywhere else, so.
We're not going anywhere else. We're not even getting out of the parish.
Yeah, I don't mind any time, Pete. I'll meet up.
Saturday to attend. Some people aren't on the meeting tonight, so if we say not this Saturday, but the Saturday after, would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
My meeting is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So we can still do it,
surgery booked for 11 o'clock, he says. So
yeah, so we do that online. So it will. If we say 9 o'clock, then would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
You can't go to the pub, so you'd have to get up on time anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. What date was it? What date's that coming to?
16th.
16th.
Yeah, okay.
Saturday the 16th and 9 a.m.
Just let people know about that. That's
Can I just clarify? Do you want me to do the research to find out what all the other moorland cemeteries are charging, or is anybody else doing that? Can I just clarify that?
That's a good point.
Is anybody else on that, or do you want me to do that?
Right, don't know. I'll have to have a think about that.
I can do it.
I mean, yeah, somebody's got to do it. So Denise, if you can, could you do that for us, please? It might come in useful for other things as well. Okay. Next item. Junction of Stitch Road and Brown Hills Road has been used by heavy vehicles reversing. Residents' suggestion for bollards or flower tubs with the residents offered to look after to prevent this from happening. So, we've got any proposals? Phil?
Yeah, we've got some flower tubs, 6 flower tubs on Bank End that were put there for a specific reason. And that reason now, that problem has actually gone away. So we could actually use a few of those flower tubs, if not all of them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay, so we think in principle that we're in favour of it. We need to find out who it is who's actually going to maintain them for us and make sure that they will do that. Just check, double check, and I think on that basis we can do it, yeah. Adrian?
Whereabouts on Brown Hill Road is it? At the bottom of Brown Hill Road?
Yeah, if you get at the bottom, it's on the junction.
I'm happy to help out with maintenance of that. I actually live on the road, so it's not a huge problem. And if we need a hand getting them down there, Phil, then I'm happy to give you a hand with that.
Okay.
Well, I'm quite happy to take them in my van, but I was wondering whether the grounds maintenance contractor with his insured vehicle should really do it.
Yeah. Okay, happy to help out though, whatever the situation.
All right, we'll organise that. We'll organise that one way or another. All right, so we're getting the put at the bottom of the things, hoping to stop traffic from running on, and then we've got somebody or a couple of people who will maintain them anyway, so that's good news. So we'll do that, yeah. We're all in favour of doing that then. Yep, just showing them. That's it.
I think what we'll need there, Chair, is some soil putting in the ground where it's sunken.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the other reason I thought the grounds maintenance contractor could do it.
Yeah, it just wants stamping down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, is it the verge in front to make booms?
It is that exact same one.
The other side.
Both sides it is.
Because there's a lot of people that just park there anyway that aren't wagons. That visit.
There's a lot of general parking on Virgin.
It's right on the corner.
Yeah.
I can't imagine them parking there.
If you know, it's illegal.
I think carers go in to see Mrs. Greaves, and that's where they go.
Yeah, it's on the opposite corner. It's in front of the old police house.
Oh, there, right.
Yeah, and it's right on the corner. I can't imagine anybody parking there.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
That's a big problem. So we're all in favour of getting them in place, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, okay, let's do that then. Local council award scheme. Should Brownheads Parish Council join? You've got to see Appendix 3. I've attached that. I don't know if you've taken the time to read through it or not. It's quite a big document. That's the document if you've seen it. So Clark and myself have looked through it, and it's quite interesting. There are 3 different levels. We are just quickly looking through it. There are some things on there that we would need to, quite a few things on there that we would need to do to get to the kind of gold standard, the top standard, but we are actually doing quite a few of the top standard things already. So what this does, it just means that it keeps us moving forward and keeps progressing as an organisation, making sure we're doing things exactly right. That's it really. It's just best practice. That's what this is. So whether you feel that we ought to go in for it or not is up to you. I don't think it's something that we would have to sit down and do a load of work at straight away. It's a matter of progressing over time rather than something that we'd measure immediately. It's not like that. It's just like you register for it and then you kind of got time, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 5 years to get to the required standard. It's as simple as that. Do you feel we should need to do it or not?
I think, well, we're looking at the sort of thing. I think it's a good idea, Peter, don't you?
I do think it's a good idea, to be honest with you. I think it keeps us on the toes. It means that we're offering the best possible service to the members of the public, and that's really is what we should be thinking about.
At the end of the day, it's accreditation that we can lean back on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm looking for the cost. I'm just trying to find the cost of it. Actually, it is in there somewhere.
Yeah, I had a quick look through and agree. I definitely think we should do it because we want to improve. But my question was about the cost.
Yeah, so that's the cost there. And I think from memory, there's no actual cost for joining it. The cost comes from the actual accreditation when you know what standard you're at, which is actually what that implies there, isn't it? But the maximum we could possibly be charged, annual income's over 25 just about, so it's 200 quid.
Says there's a registration fee of 50.
That's it. There you
go. Well, that looks like the cheapest accreditation that you could ever have. Because my accreditations are absolute fortune.
I know.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that one.
So the key is it's 50 quid to get in the scheme, and then we're assessed against that. And if we are absolutely fantastic, gold standard, then it would cost us 200 quid because we're over 20. I can't read that, so
25.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good.
We don't have to have that standard, by the way. We can just still be registered for it, and and go through the process. It's peer reviewed. It's reviewed by other people who are parish councils. Okay, so we're all in favour of doing that, by the way. I can't see everybody yet. Are we all in favour of doing that? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, thank you very much. So resolution still being pursued on the activity tracker. I've got to be admitting I've not checked to see if there's anything that we've got to knock off. So I'd just like to, unless anybody else has got a point there that they want to raise on that, I'd just like to move on to the next item. Has anybody got anything they want to raise on the activity tracker? I've not checked to see if we've actually done anything. I'm assuming, the reason is I'm assuming that over Christmas we haven't actually done anything on there. So
I apologise, Peter. I haven't loaded that document actually because nothing's changed since last month. So
there you go then. So there's no, that's it. Okay. So the next thing then is reports and actions of parish councils undertaking business actions on behalf of the council. So a Christmas activity report. But Sarah's going to give us a bit of a report on that, I think.
Yep. So you probably all saw the Facebook post. So we did the Christmas lights competition, and we had the sponsors of the prize fund were the judges, and it was really difficult. And you know, everyone says, "Oh, it's really." It was actually really difficult because everyone. It looked amazing, didn't it? It looked really, really good. So we sort of all discussed, and these were the winners of the categories. So House on Woodside Avenue there won the most beautiful. The pictures obviously don't do them justice, but you've probably all seen them. Then the house there on Marshall Avenue was the winner for the most entertaining. Then we had a tie for the meaning of Christmas, because Val McMahon did the nativity scene in the window, which looked amazing. But then I don't know if you saw the two houses on the White Row, and they'd sort of collaborated together. And again, the pictures don't do it justice, but I'm sure you've all driven past and seen it. And it looked really beautiful. And the two together, they clearly worked together on it. And then there wasn't much on the other houses. And Tina, who was one of the judges and one of the sponsors, she really felt like the meaning behind that was, you know, neighbours coming together and a community spirit at Christmas time. So there was a tie there. We just couldn't decide between the two. So those were the winners. So the next steps is that they'll have, because of COVID, obviously I can't go and knock on and tell them, so they'll get the note through the door. I've got them all written up. I'm going to go tomorrow morning with their prize fund, and they can either keep the cash, or they can give it to charity, whatever they want to do. And then I'd like just permission from the council to announce that on the Facebook page if possible. I went round and took quite a few photos of like the trees on High Lane and a couple of other features. So went up to Marshes Hill and got, the Merry Christmas signs that Rob did, and got that in the snow with all the landscape behind. So I'd like to put a couple of those on at the same time as the winners, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say what a fantastic success it was, and I went round 3 nights on the trot, and I tell you what, it was hard. It wasn't amazing. It was amazing. And I tell you, up Springfield Crescent, them houses up there were fantastic. And across back in Greenfield as well, there was a couple of houses across there, absolutely brilliant of what people did. And somebody said to me today, as when they came into Brown Edge, they felt like the warmth of the community. And I thought, well, that's a very powerful thing for somebody to say there. They felt the warmth of the community that came into the village. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. It's something we're proud of, really. That, Keith.
Just a quick question. I believe I at the last meeting said rather foolishly that I would be sponsoring one of these particular prizes, and then I wasn't even asked to come and have a look. Oh, no.
I think you're sponsoring the sign, Keith. You're sponsoring. You said you were going to sponsor one.
Yes, the sign. Yeah.
One of the signs.
Hang on, Sarah, because we've got indecision here. Keith could help us out here, and we could have 4 winners. Thanks, Keith.
No, hold on. Hold
Oh,
on.
hang
How
on.
much raw money is that? I'm being fleeced here, aren't I? I only asked, well, how was I going to pay my contribution? I was going to try and be.
Well, it could be cash or cheque. We don't mind.
Yeah, we'll sort that out, Keith. Don't worry about that.
I thought you might. I thought you might. Anyway, right, okay, but no, just brilliant
Well done,
idea.
everybody.
Brilliant idea. Fantastic.
Well done, everybody. And by everybody, I don't just mean us for doing it. I mean for people who actually took the time to do it. I mean, there's houses that mine included. We've never had lights on them. Never done it before.
They've done it very well when I saw them.
And this time we thought we better do it, and a lot of people were exactly the same. And I think Phil done a fantastic job as well. I mean, if you know, we obviously couldn't give it to blooming councillors this award.
Oh no.
Definitely couldn't say it.
Yeah, Will was very upset when I
I thought
told
Phil was a great. That was a good deal as well, mate. Outside your house, so we played our part, and thank everybody for that.
Yeah, I think we did it obviously this year to raise the spirits. I really think it would be good to do it every year. You know, why not?
Okay, well done, Sarah.
Yeah. I think we can, and we've learned a lot as well from it. In terms of the Santa thing, nobody's put anything through the letterbox. Okay, so in terms of spotting Santas, nobody bothered. But I'm not surprised because while it was on, of course, the world of snow was down and the kids were on Bank End, and I don't want them walking around the village looking for Santas when there's snow about, really. So that was all right. So next thing then, thank you everybody for that. Next thing is, where are we now? Okay, quotations for wall repair and for replacement notice board in the cemetery. Okay, now, so the notice board, I think Denise may have sent a thing out today. She sent it to me anyway for the notice board.
Sorry, I haven't sent it to everybody yet, Pete, sorry.
Yeah, okay, it only came today. But I can tell you that for the size that we want, which is 4A4, so it's not like a great big board like outside the village hall. It's a much smaller one. It's durable as well, with legs, and that's an important thing, with legs. It'll be about 400 quid. So that's the kind of area we're in for notice board. That other notice board needs taking down, actually, Nige. If we're up there, if you can rip it over and take it down, because it's going to fall on somebody if we aren't careful. It's rotten through on both bottom little legs. I'm surprised it hasn't come down to that wind.
Is this another one on the list, Pete?
That's another one on the list, yeah.
Are we getting?
Karen, yeah.
Are we getting 2 or 3 quotes for it? For the board itself?
Yeah, we can do that.
So far, I've just got one big price list from one company. So yeah, I can present that at the next meeting if you like.
What, the couple of different suppliers?
Yes, yeah.
At the moment, we just got one brochure and one big price list. So
And the reason why we did that, we know was just because of the budget, which we'll come to in a minute. So,
can I just mention, John phoned me to tell me the notice board that you're removing was made by Councillor Knox when he was councillor. He just would like to have that minuted, and it has got a nice Brown Edge Parish Council title at the top. So whether or not somebody could save part of it or reuse it for something. Sorry, my phone's going. I'll put myself on mute.
yeah. Okay, Keith.
Just very quickly, we just done exactly this in one of the other parish councils, and I think that we had to take the notice board round to a sort of a lady that started a wood carving service and everything else, and I think she did it quite cheaply in the end, and everything else. I think Denise might know more about that, and I could certainly ask if that was something if you want to try and do that, unless you want to keep the bit that you've already got or try and improve on it. I don't know.
Okay, so I think what we'll do, we'll take it down so it's safe. Have a look at this carving or whatever it is on the top. Understand if we can take it off or not, and then it'll tell us what type of board we can attach it to or not. So I think we've got a bit more work to do before we can decide to purchase. I think we decided to purchase, but the point is which one to purchase. Yeah, you're okay with that. So we'll have to come to it at the next meeting. Yeah, you're all okay with that? So we'll wait till next. Yeah, okay, thank you. As far as the wall is concerned, I think Neil's been have a look at the wall and he believes that it can be pointed up.
Yeah, there's nothing structurally. It's just sunk with the land. A repointing job will sort that, no problem. I spoke.
Well done, Neil. When you're doing that, mate.
Well, not in this weather. Spoke to my uncle Chris. He said he'd have a look at it as well, and he said the same. Like, you know, it's a pointing job. But Nigel Derby, he's expressed an interest in doing it when it's again warmer. He's given me a price for doing it, so we've got somebody who'll do it anyway.
Yeah. So it has been pointed twice before in memory. Yeah. Something is moving there, and that is just causing it to open up.
Just looking at the metal work that's on it, the metal work isn't moving. The wall itself sunk, and you tend to find once they sink, they're not going to sink a great deal more. What has sunk now, you know, a good repointing job should do it for.
Okay.
Should last for a fortnight.
Yeah, it should last until the wind blows.
Yeah. Well, the pillars are sound enough. There's no problem with the pillars. There's no problem with the wall itself. It's not coming over. It's just dropped.
Okay. So do we need to get a quote then for this?
Yeah.
I've already got one. If you want to put it out to anybody else, but we have got a bloke on the village who'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So do we need 2 quotes then? Speak now, come on, please help me.
Yeah, 2 quotes.
2 quotes. So can we get 2 quotes? We've got one there then.
Already got one.
Yeah, we're going to get one. Somebody said he'll do it. We just need to look for another person to do a quote on this. So do we want to put it in the Parish magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on
on Facebook as well, and then anybody can see it. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. We'll do that and get it ready for. I mean, we can't do it yet. It's going to be spring before we can do it. You can't do it with frost around, can you? So.
No, but we can get it planned in, can't we?
Exactly right. Yeah. Okay. We'll go crack on with that. Then we'll get the quotation or the tender document out. Any idea how much it would be, Neil? That kind of work, roughly.
Yeah. Well, it's a day's work, so.
All right. Okay. So we aren't talking a great lot of money then. I'm just thinking about because in the standing orders we've got tiers of what we've got to do in terms of getting a quotation. So
I don't want to say on here the price I've been quoted. No. Somebody will come and undercut it, but if I do it, it'll cost you a fortune. Put it that road.
Yeah, well, of course it will. We understand that.
Will the quote include the materials?
Yeah.
So when we go out for the quote, Denise, it needs to include materials.
Yeah.
It's for the full. It's for the full job, repointing job. Clean it out, point it up again, and cart away anything that needs coming out.
Yeah.
But
okay.
They know I'll do that.
Yeah, we're okay. Okay. So we'll get that done. So by the next meeting, we'll come back and we'll be able to have a price. A tender document in front of us so that we can see what, or quotation should I say, in front of us so that we'll be able to decide on who to go with. Okay. Next item then is the Finance and Governance authorisation for payments.
I just need to mention the Tesco mobile top-up. I've actually managed to get it for £7.50. So that needs changing. So on my Clark expenses, it should actually read 268.99. No, sorry, 368.99 in total. Okay, so that one there needs changing.
Okay, could I just also say that we shouldn't be publishing, it's very difficult this, we shouldn't be publishing anybody's salary.
Okay.
It's very difficult because we're actually asking to make a check out here, and I don't know how we get around that, and perhaps we ought to seek some advice, but we definitely shouldn't be publishing somebody's individual salary like this.
Okay, do you want me just...
Yeah. So...
Let me just take that bit off screen. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. It's difficult. I think we ought to get some guidance on that, Denise. Okay. You've all seen the. Has anybody got any proposals to make? Any amendments, or should we approve them en masse, or what?
I've got a report from Linda about the Brown Edge Luncheon Club. She said all the members received a gift of a hamper over Christmas. Because they usually have funds from, I think they may have funds from subs and some donations from other places. But she said because of COVID, those funds have not come in as usual. So she said a donation of £300 would be very gratefully received by Brown Edge Luncheon Club.
Yeah. Bearing in mind that we've actually got that money, that isn't coming out, we've got that money from the grant.
Yeah.
And you've already heard that the Airgate Centre has provided people on Brown Edge with meals. So. Can we propose anything? Are we going to approve it en masse or go through them one? Are you okay with everything on there, Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they currently incurring expenses then? Because they aren't actually doing anything, are they?
What?
Sorry, what?
What I'm just asking there is clarification on, are they currently incurring expenses and having no income because of COVID, or have they got no expenses anyway because of COVID?
No, they've got no expenses apart from what they've done there with the Christmas hampers for everybody.
Right.
So people who've been attending, what actually happened was, for the luncheon club, they made sure that everybody got a Christmas meal. And they had a hamper. And, so everybody got a hamper, or all the members got a hamper. People who normally turn up. So they haven't got any other expenses ongoing. It's just this is a one-off.
Yeah, okay.
Peter, there was one other expense Linda mentioned, with a bit of a sensitive subject, but she does say when some of the members pass away, the club always sends a wreath or a flower donation. So she did mention that.
Yeah. And there's been a few of late. Okay. So Karen's proposed that we accept all those and pay them on, straight away. Anybody else got a seconder for that? No seconder?
Neil.
Neil, sorry, I can't see Neil because I've got the screens up here.
You should be able to see me at all times, Pete.
I tell you what I can see, Neil. I can see a Christmas tree behind you, and I'm going to mention it at the end.
I got my hand up as well.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. That's all signed off. Next item then is cemetery recorder reports from Mr. Bourne, cemetery recorder. Well, that's an appendix. Is there anything to report on that? I've got nothing on my notes here. Just for report. I can see that we filled up a row on the cemetery. We've been quite busy lately. And I think there's another one tomorrow. I think I might be wrong in there. Another funeral tomorrow. So, and I hope to goodness we don't get everybody on Brown Edge looks after themselves with this new bout of COVID going round. So, got the report there. It's just that move that it lies on the table. Is that what somebody's suggesting here? Could I hear? Yeah. Okay. Move that it lies on the table. Second for that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Next thing is the precept request for 21-22. So
You might want to come back to this, Pete, actually, after the budget, thinking about it,
I
put
think
them in the wrong order.
Yeah, they are. So we will, if you all agree with that, we'll take the draft budget first of all for you to agree with, and then that then allows us to decide what precept we want to request. Okay. So we'll move on to that if you can. You'll move on to the draft budget first and show that on the screen.
Now, sorry.
Okay, yeah, we can still see the Excel spreadsheet there. I hope you can all read it. It's a lot of detail on there. So we're in like I think the best thing to say here, Karen, we're like a transition period really now from moving from the way that John used to do it to moving towards the way that we will be doing it with Scribe. And so the headings and stuff are still got to be changed, but that's the kind of column D there, the headings that they will fall under when we're just using Scribe. But members of the working group who were looking at this felt that for continuity, we ought to just show that it's as it was, the columns that as John always put on. So it doesn't look 100% different. So what we've got there, as you'll probably be able to work out in column A, is what we had in, I can't read, it's too small, but it's that same what we had in 2019. Okay, and then the actual is in 2020 there, is the next column. Okay.
That's last year, and then
That's last
2021 is where we're actually, the orange column is where we're actually working now.
Yeah, that's right.
But can I just ask a question? It probably doesn't involve this much as well, but we're on YouTube here.
Yeah.
Are all councils' meetings on YouTube?
No.
Okay. Because there's lots of information here.
Yeah, well, this is all in the public domain, and members of the public are free to access this at any point.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and if we weren't on YouTube, members of the public would be attending the meeting when this information would be available.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you can see, what the working group have gone down and made an estimate based on previous estimates of what we will be requiring, and that's the items in blue there. If you look under there, it's like all the same. If you see what I mean, all the four columns I, J, K, and L. Those items in blue, they're all the same because those are anticipated expenditure. Okay, so those are on the payment side. So we're anticipating spending 33,916. Okay. Now, if we look down at on the other things, there's some other things, projects and things that we feel that, yes, we've agreed to do them. It's already been agreed that we do them, but we need to save up for them. So we're looking to kind of add to our budgets. For example, one of the things on there that was raised 4 or 5 years ago was the cemetery car park service. The car park service is okay at the moment, but if we leave it much longer, and this was like the feeling 4 or 5 years ago, if we leave it much longer, then it'll start to deteriorate badly. So we did have a quote, like I say, 4 or 5 years ago, before actually I was on the council, so it's a bit more than that. We did have a quote then for £7,000 for surface dressing. So we think that's a lot of money just to take out all in one go. And we should be saying, okay, well, we need to put some money aside for that this year and next year, and so that we can afford to have it done. Because if we don't have it done, then it's going to cost us a lot more than that, obviously. So that's one of the items on there. So and there's other things, as you can see on there. One of the things that we haven't got a number against is planning permission for the cemetery. We do need to get an estimate for how much that's going to cost us to get planning permission. I don't think the pressure is quite the same as it was since we've done the work on the cemetery, but you know, we still need to get planning permission, because if we haven't got planning permission, who knows whether we can even bury on there, and we'd have to start looking for an alternative. So we haven't got an estimate there, because we just need to be able to find out how much that will cost.
So
Was planning permission not obtained when we first purchased it, Pete?
No.
And it does run out after 3 years, doesn't it, once you get it? So you have to
It
keep
does.
paying again then, don't you?
Unless you start it, and then so what starting it means, it can take 20 years to complete. You just got to start it, and then that's it.
It's going to cost thousands to put the fence up as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So we need to look at, there's a whole load of work to do with that, for, you know, the whole thing. One of the things we've got to do is we've got to look at the agreement that we've got with the county council regarding fence. What I do know, because we did have a look at the agreement when a member of the public raised the issue of selling that piece of land to raise funds for the council. So we had a look at what the agreement with the county council was, and there are conditions on it. We need to look to see what that is regarding the fence again, so that we're in a position of knowledge. So that's, I don't think there's the same kind of pressure, you know, as there was. I don't think that's the case anymore. And I think the other thing that we've got to do this summer is, in our existing cemetery, check that bottom area, get the digger in and check to see how wet it is and if the fall is adequate. But we won't be able to bury all the way down to the bottom in our existing cemetery anyway, because there's no drainage. There's not 8 foot of drop, although we have lifted the floor up, the bottom up by about 2 foot, the drain up about 2 foot. It's not 8 foot, which you need to be able to make sure it's dry. But we do need to dig and find out, because somewhere down there was a pool, a spring. I remember when I was a lad, we used to go, and there used to be a trough there with the water in it. So we need to find out where that is. But at the moment, we've got, you know, at the current rate, there's 6 years of burial there. So we'll have to just see how we go with that. But we certainly need to be able to know that we got planning permission. We certainly need to have outline planning permission anyway, not detailed, but outline planning permission. And the reason why I know that the district council are being particularly awkward, I think is the best way to describe it, with applications for burial grounds in the green belt, because that's in the green belt, remember. So we need to be certain that we've got a solution there. And the only way of doing that is by getting planning permission. So what we're saying there is we will need to do those projects, and to start to fund these other projects down here, we will need just under 34,000. Okay, so if we go to the income, which is at the top. Yeah, in green. This is our projected income for this year. You'll notice that there's a massive contribution from the cemetery.
Yeah.
Which keeps the rates down dramatically. So the income that we are under normal status, we've got grants in there as well. We've got some on expenditure, but we've got 37,000. If we have a precept of 1%, it brings us 37,277 in. If it's if you go to 3%, it brings us 37,737 pounds. So it makes about 400 quid difference, 500 quid difference for every 2%. So we've got expenditure, anticipated expenditure, whatever it was down below, which I can't see here. I'll look on in sheet here. Anticipated expenditure of
33,916.
Yeah, 33,916, an income of 37,277. If we are at 1%, if you go to 2%, it's just above that. Now, so you might say, oh, we don't need all that, but we do, because what we just said to you is we want to be putting some money in reserves, okay, in ring fence reserves, so that we can afford to pay for the car park resurface. So we aren't trying to save all the money. We want to put 2 or 3 grand away to pay for that in 2 years' time.
That's a cemetery car park.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the last year's? Was that 3%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I suggest we go for 3%, Pete?
I think, okay, so that's above inflation at the moment.
It is.
You know, the only thing is if you don't keep up, then, you know, you're suddenly in 2 or 3 years' time, you're kind of having to pay catch up again. And to be perfectly frank, it's 400 quid there. So £400 is between 1 and 3%. It's £400 per annum for the whole village. Well, so I think that's roughly about, I don't know, probably about 40 pence or something that people are paying. 50 pence extra a year.
Go on to the precept sheet.
Yeah.
How's that mean? That one. I don't know if you can make sense of that, but it's this line here that tells you how much the households will be paying extra.
Right. So D is a 1% increase, they'll be paying 28 pence. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's on a band D household. So if you're in a band C or a band B or a band A, it'd be less.
Yeah. That's 28p per annum. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
I am. 28 pence. That's the difference. So it's neither here nor there, is it really?
No.
No, even if it was £28, it wouldn't be for a year, would it?
No.
So
what you're looking for council here to agree on the percentage?
Well, you've just got to come up with a percentage. I mean, the first thing is, I'm sorry, I need to go back again to the budget.
Has anybody got any input?
Yeah, we've just looked at this and said, okay, this is what we think we should be, where the money is going to go out this year, and that's on the payment side. So you need to look down there. Every council needs to look down there, if you haven't already, look down there and say, yeah, okay, I can understand that. I understand where you got the money from there. I understand what that is. What's this here? I don't understand that. You know, we've got to have councillors understanding that is what we're going to be spending this year. And if there's anything else that you think that we need to spend, it needs to be added onto it.
Well, the main expenditure could be the holly bush, couldn't it?
Yeah. We can't budget for that because if you do start budgeting for stuff that's an unknown, we're in, in difficult area, aren't we?
Well, I think we do need to budget for it, Pete.
How?
If we know we're going to be spending, we need to budget for it. Otherwise, come the day when we have to spend, I think something else has got to go, hasn't it?
No, because we've got earmark projects. If you look down here, we've got earmark projects already lined up so we can spend out of reserves.
The budget is about normal running costs, not special projects.
Yeah, you can't put special projects in the budget.
Well, what about the new cemetery then? Isn't that?
That's got earmark funds as well.
That's earmarked, you see down here.
Yeah, but the same principle applies to that, to the Hollybush, doesn't it? It's a project.
Well,
that's why it's earmarked.
But that's why it's earmarked.
Okay, we're okay to say.
Why can't we earmark some for the Hollybush is what I'm asking.
It is in there.
It is, it's there. So in earmarked funds, right, which is out of balance, is earmarked for the Hollybush project is 10,000.
Can you see it on the spreadsheet, Phil?
No, I can't. No.
Yeah,
have you not got it?
No, I'm on. I can see it there, but I can't see the detail. I'm on an iPad.
Yeah.
There's £10,000 earmarked for the Hollybush project.
And do you think that's going to be enough for this next year?
No,
yeah, because we've got to pay solicitors. We're not going to spend a fortune on it, are we, this year?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. That's why I'm asking the question.
It's the $1 million question though, because none of us know. We've got to pay the solicitors.
Yeah. We don't know. We aren't at that, even at the stage where we know what the cost's going to be of the transaction. We're waiting for us to get back to us on that. So that's why we can't agree to it until we know that. What we do know is that when we come to purchase it, if and when we come to purchase it, there is work that will need to be done more or less straight away. And that, again, is going to be some point of discussion because they started to do work and not completed it at the back, as you notice. So that's obviously got to be reflected in the price. So
I think there'll be a big discussion, won't it? Depending on how things go in the next few months.
Yes, that's right.
With the closure, obviously, that's what I'm referring to.
Sorry, Phil. Can I just say, Pete, regarding what has gone on at the back, from what I've seen, there needs more doing to that, just from what I know, and I haven't really studied it, but what I have seen, there needs more done to that wall.
Correct.
That wall, as soon as there's anything behind it, it'll be down inside 12 months, 18 months.
Right, it's definitely substandard work in my opinion, that is, and I'm not a builder and I don't know much about it and I haven't been inspected, I've only just looked at it while they were doing it.
And what I've been told, but fair enough, the bloke's done what he was told to do.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why when we come to actually making the transaction, that needs to be taken into account because there is going to be some work that needs to be done straight away. Okay, so what we've got earmarked earmarked funds. So we can't budget for something that we don't know about. That's the point of that, Phil. It could be 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, or no grand. We just don't know. So you can't budget for that in that way. If it was a capital expenditure, you'd purchase it and pay it back in instalments. That's how that would work in a normal situation.
One thing we do know is that we are going to be having some solicitors' costs.
That's right. We do know that.
So we have put that 10 grand down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pete, can I interrupt for just a couple of seconds?
Yes, of course you can.
I know that you're talking about, fixed costs and things like that for projects and everything else. With what's been happening with COVID and everything that's going on at the moment and the general approach to what's happening within the community, the parish council's done excellent work in terms of doing, Christmas projects and hot meals and all these other things. I'm afraid that that is the way of the future. I think what's going to be happening more and more is there's going to be more hopefully more local activity rather than dictatorship from the top over the coming years. And I know you've got reserves and everything else to try and get you through some of these times, but I do think things are changing quite rapidly now.
Yeah, I agree.
And I agree. I do think that you need to have some sort of contingency, some idea of building up, not necessarily more reserves, but at least making sure you don't end up in a situation where you desperately want to try and do something and improve the lot of the community under whatever circumstances we might find ourselves in. And I do think that it would be a good move to have at least some idea of that concepts of what's going to be happening within the community, as well as on top of what the projects are. It's no good spending all this money. I'll just give you one example. For example, at the moment, we've just had a whole thing about community help points and having somewhere where a location can volunteer, have a volunteer who might be able to help, and not just a signpost anymore, but to actually help navigate for some of the elderly and some other people that might need support and all the rest of it around all these multitude of services that we're bringing up at the moment. So just having that facility, just having somewhere to someone to be warm and to be able to take phone calls or to be able to meet up occasionally, things like that. They're all things that I think do need to be taken into consideration over the coming, and I do think that the support of the volunteers, although they're voluntary, there are financial elements involved in all that. And I think it's a very important step forward when a parish council such as this one has realised and recognised that sort of work. So I'll shut up now, but I just think that is something that I think people do need to consider. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt your preset conversation.
Oh, that's fine. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, definitely parish councils in the future will be asked to do more. No question about that. And you mentioned earlier on about a road being maintained. I mean, that just that just gives you some indication of where things are going.
Historically, what have we put the precepts up each year, Pete?
It's varied. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it is varied, isn't it?
Mm.
I mean, there's nothing you can say any more or less than that. I mean, the issue is, for me, when I look at this, and I think it's hard to get money back. You have to double it the next year to get that money back.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of the way where we are and how we are at the moment, we aren't arguing here over half a penny, which used to where we used to be. We aren't there at all. Our budget now is significantly bigger than that, but it's still, as a proportion of what other people are paying, as you can see, increase it by 1%, and it's 28 pence a year or something. That's just, whatever it was, I can't remember what it was, but it's an absolutely minuscule amount of money.
Over the whole village, you'd only get 231. So if you put it up by 1%, over the whole village, you'll get £231.
But the cost to the individual people on the village is very, it's negligible. So, as it's left to councillors, I mean, the point I'm making is, we are, any one of those numbers there is fine. Fine in inverted commas. We don't need, because we are being prudent, because the way the council is being run and the cemetery in particular is being run, means that we haven't got to increase the precept by a significant amount. But we do have to put money in reserves to pay for these other projects down here. For example, if you're doing the Hollywood project, that's 10 grand. Well, that's got to be replaced from somewhere, at some point in the future. Other projects, cemetery planning permission. We haven't got a number in there even, but that's got to be paid for in the future. So we've got to build up our reserves anyway. So I think it's entirely down to councillors what councillors feel that they should, be precepting for. So, we've had a proposal for 3%, Okay, I think, first of all, have we got a seconder for that? We've all had time to look at this.
Are we agreeing the budget then, or?
Yeah, we've got to agree the budget first, really. You're right there, Karen. We have got to agree the budget first.
Does anybody think there should be any changes made? Is anybody not happy with the uplifts or anything that we've done?
No, it's all really clear. Thank you.
Very good.
A lot of detail. Can I just ask one very quick question? It's just probably through naivety. If there was any work that needed to be carried out on footpaths, footpath maintenance, items like that that we've talked about in past meetings, I know some of the footpaths are maintained by the district and county, but would that fall into this remit? Should there be anything budgeted in there for it?
Yeah, you would need to make a budget provision.
Just for some essential maintenance, like, you know, some of the styles and some of the elements, if we're thinking of trying to keep the footpaths open and usable in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we kind of discussed that as well, because I was talking about the footpath signs that need upgrading. So, and we did set a little bit aside in the actual.
Yeah.
So I've sent Denise my report for the Brown Edge area now, Peter.
Yeah.
And I think you got a copy of that as well. So I know we've talked about volunteer teams to do them, but they'll need materials and you know, equipment.
So one of the things that we've done this time, if you've noticed, in the past we've had a litter picking fee and a lensman charge, which this time we put together. We spent, I think, £600 this year on that, on the various bits and pieces. And what we've actually done is we've looked at what we used to spend on that area, which is over £1,000, and we put 1,225 in budget this time, because we recognise that we will want to. The signs are pretty naff around the village at the moment, and we'll at least want to be washed off or something and probably replaced as we go along. So we have uplifted that area. So, but you're right. If there's any things like that, Adrian, that we want to do as part of the project, then we have to put them in the budget now. And that this is
the time.
Yeah, if we haven't got the money available, we are able to. If a project comes up and we've got no money available for it, we are able to draw down from reserves if we have to, but we have to pass a special motion for that. And the same thing for if there's anything that's not spent on this particular thing, particular items that are on the in the budget, then you can again pass a motion to move that money into that pot. But it's bad practice to do that. The idea is that we budget properly for a specific item and then, you know, either spend it or don't spend it.
Exactly. So Denise has just put the footpaths onto the budget there, and we have got a bit of manoeuvring anyway, haven't we?
Yeah, that's right.
We've got money to manoeuvre. We can put a figure in there if you've got some kind of idea of how much it may cost, or.
I probably wouldn't have, Karen. That's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, I walk them, I've looked at them, I've investigated them, but getting costs for materials to do some of the work that we need and actually agreeing what we want to do really is probably something that needed more thought. But
yeah, because I mean, obviously you've got to prioritise the footpaths and the cost of each one, and yeah, there's a lot of work behind that first, isn't there? So do you think
there is?
Do you want us to put any money in the budget in case any of that work comes up during the next 12 months?
I think it would be good to have an emergency pot in there, if that makes sense, or some budget allocated. And even if that was used to clean signs, to get signage into
we have accounted for a bit of signage, haven't we, in there?
Yeah.
I think it would be good to have something in there, but I don't know what the figure is, Karen, ultimately.
Well, obviously you wouldn't be doing all the footpaths in 1 year anyway, would you? So
no, you wouldn't. No.
You know, has anybody got any ideas of a figure that we'd want in for maintaining the footpaths.
Do you want me to come in at this stage, Peter?
Yeah.
Or,
If you could, it'd be helpful.
Generally, within my budget, it's somewhere between £7,500 and £10,000 per year I've had in the DHP. An element that I've been paying out, we just did a style over in Bagnall. We did 50-50 with the parish council there, I believe. My contribution just for the one style was about £700. So, I do think that around that sort of figure, just under £3,000 or something like that, would mean that I would still have, we could maybe do 4 projects in a year within that remit. If you do want to try and speed these things up now with Adrian's assistance and what we're doing now for climate change and everything else, and also keeping people exercised. God forbid this goes on for any longer, but we do need the footpaths maintained. When I went round litter picking and other things like that, there were several areas that were too boggy and needed some more support coming down from Top Village down into the village itself and along that route. So I do think that quite a few of these, could be done on that one. 3,000, blimey, that's a bit more than
Sorry, I thought that's what you said.
No, about 1,000. I said about 1,000 in the end, but 3,000. So I thought, well, sure, Adrian would love to spend £3,000.
Oh God, yeah, I could get a cycle path in for that as well, Keith.
We can't really do 3,000 anyway.
No.
And I think cycling will come under a separate project, Keith.
Yeah,
it could be as well, and we might get some more assistance on that. The one thing I didn't mention is that there are now green funds coming forward. And the one thing I didn't mention, which I think I did last time, is we've got a climate change action fund now at county, and that's £1,000 for the year. But people thought that was too little. So, that's the sort of level that we're at the moment. And I'm pretty sure Joe and others will have more funds coming forward for the green agenda, as it were, in general, the environment and everything. But I do think that will give you a bit of control. It will give you a bit more than, because then you can double up on your funding. So everyone's looking to double up and support each other, to get more value for your bucks, as it were. That's the main reason. Sorry, Peter. Thank you.
No worries. That's exactly it. So if we put in £1,000 in there, which I think I've just seen happening, although it's difficult to actually spot. Yeah.
Can you go to the top of the screen a bit, please, Denise? Yeah, so we've still got room for that £1,000.
Yeah, we have. But my point is, we were going to put surplus in for the things that we're saving for the future.
Yeah.
We've got £7,000 of car parking repairs that we've got to do, because if we don't, we're going to end up with a bill of about 20,000.
Well, there's a couple of thousand left there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Chair?
Unallocated funds there.
Yeah.
Row 84, unallocated.
Yeah. Yeah, Phil?
Yeah, Chair. We've spoke previously about having some Remembrance Sunday types of statue come plaques, similar to what Norton Green have got in. Does that need to be included in the budget, if we're hoping to do it next year?
It would. But we can keep going with different things. There's benches that we can put around and all sorts of stuff. It's a matter of, being frugal, I think, as much as possible, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The job isn't just to go out and spend loads of money. The job is to get the best value all the time.
Karen, at 3%, would that be covering us to do these projects now and put some in the bank, or do we need to review and go? I know I've put a proposal in at 3%, but
the thing about it all, Nigel, is that we've only got so much time as well to do all these things, and we're not going to get them done. We've already got a big list up that we haven't.
Yeah.
This is, you have to make a choice, don't you? I mean, Phil's just mentioned buying remembrance things, but is it more important to do that, or is it more important to get the village looking neat and tidy constantly, like the signs and everything upgraded, rather than?
And at these times, it'd be nice to put it up by 25% and do everything, but that isn't the point, is it?
No, you can't. You could have all the money that in the world in there, and you still haven't got time to do it.
Correct.
And to be honest with you, the difference, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm quite shocked that the difference between 1% and 3% is so little anyway in real terms.
Yeah.
You know, it's not really there, is it?
No, it isn't. No. So where are we going with this then?
Is everybody happy with the budget, or has
That's
anybody
the first thing, isn't it? So is the budget okay for everyone? Are we all happy with that list? Because if
I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
we're going to have to take forever. We've already spent three evenings doing this.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that. Yeah, it's just setting the preset now, isn't it?
Yeah. So if we're all happy with that as a budget, that's fixed then now, and then we could now move on to the actual precept.
Do we all have to agree the budget now, or?
Yeah, I've just done well.
Yeah, we've agreed that. Yeah.
I understood we all agreed it there, but
Stop share a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, we're all in favour of that budget, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Phil, you okay? Yeah, all right.
thank you for doing that. It's really good.
You're welcome.
So the next thing then is the actual precept. And on that basis, we've got to decide what percentage to go with.
Worked out 7.5%. I'm sorry I didn't work that one out, but
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? So we had a proposal already for 3%. Okay. And the next thing is, have we got a seconder for that? Got a seconder for that. Are there any other proposals? Okay, so all we need to do now is vote whether we go for 3% increase. So all those in favour of a 3% increase, please show. Okay, that's it. So that's what we've done. That's a big step. Thank you for doing that. Pressure was on actually, because we've got to get this into the district council quite shortly. So what will happen now is, as a result of this budget, this will be keyed into Scribe, and we will then be able to, as we go along during the year, we'll be able to have reports on how we're spending against each of these items on the budget. That's the concept. Okay, and so we can see, you know, where we are as we go along, which we've never done before. Okay, so thanks for that, and move on to the next thing then now. Correspondence, public footpaths. We had a letter from the clerk regarding, we've had a letter from the clerk of Hendon regarding an anonymous complaint. Okay, so the position with anonymous letters is that unless they are exceedingly serious, councils shouldn't regard them as being a valid complaint. Okay, now that includes councillors' behaviour, by the way, which this doesn't refer to, so don't have to worry about that. But that includes council behaviour, because quite clearly it could be a vexatious thing that somebody's raising. If they can't put their own name to it, then, you know, what status has it got? So I've looked at these items that are on here, okay, and they are not, I believe that they're quite frivolous. A couple of them are relevant, but frivolous is the best way to describe them. There are items that have been raised before and are been raised to the district council. Well, one of the items has been raised to the district council. It is in Hendon anyway, okay, and hasn't been able to be resolved. Okay, the two other items are in Brown Edge, and as far as I can see, have got nothing to do with the parish council anyway. Okay, so That's all we'll say. If something more comes from it, then we'll, and we feel it's important enough to deal with, then we will bring it forward. It's a shame people don't write properly or proper letters, because it would be read out and be part of the public record. But that's the situation. Okay. That's just for report. The next thing is unadopted footpath. Reports of potholes and leaves from Thalmone into Bank End from a resident. I think the clerk's got a response on this.
Resident actually sent the complaint via Phil, so thanks Phil for passing that on. I reported that to Highways. They came out and inspected it. We've noticed, by the way, if you can take photographs of the fault, they seem to come out a lot quicker, because Phil took some photos for me. I uploaded them to the portal and they came out really quick. But the report was that it's an unadopted road, or an unadopted footpath, if you like. And they said it is a public footpath, therefore I've now got to complain to footpaths rather than Highways. So basically there's potholes, and the thing was very dirty as well, with leaves, fallen leaves, and the resident was saying, you know, it's a tripping, falling hazard for walkers. So that's where we're at with it at the moment.
So perhaps a good job we put £1,000 in the blooming footpaths. Strike one.
Sorry, you fell into my strategy there.
Yeah. Okay. Karen, you're on mute, look. You were trying to speak. Sorry, Karen, you're on mute.
Was that at the top of Thalma that you're on about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as well, when you walk up there, sometimes it's just full of horse muck, and there's notice there saying no horses are available. Should be there.
Wild horses, them are, Karen.
They aren't.
They just roam wild at night.
But honestly, you do loads of it down there, and you can't get by.
Lovely. There we go.
It's a really funny one, because it's an unadopted piece of road. Probably SMDC won't come and clean it either with the road sweeper.
No, they won't. You can't
get through.
Only about 2 foot wide. Yeah. I'm not sure it's the same piece that they're talking about, actually, because it's only 2 foot wide.
Yeah. You wouldn't get a sweeper down there.
No.
No. Okay. I mean, what do we do about this? Do we just keep it under review? Well, obviously, it's going to the footpaths people. Whether they're going to do anything about it or not, I don't know. But we just keep it under review, and it is an issue. Or do we just get somebody sweep it?
Yeah, if he's unadopted, if county council, you're waiting, right? I'll bring me brush. I'll bring me brush down and do it myself. No. Seriously though, if the county council won't touch it if it's unadopted, we've had this issue down in Endon on some of the roads down there to do with street lights and everything else, and in the end the parish council had to pay for it all because no one else was responsible for it, either the district or the county, because they're unadopted.
Am I right in thinking it's county council land right next to it where the trees are?
Right. They belong to the parish council.
Sorry?
The land belongs to the parish council, Phil.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then if it belongs to the parish council, it's the parish council's trees and leaves that are falling onto it.
That's absolutely right. It's actually trees that we planted. But I think we need just look to see this footpath being unadopted, because it's not. It is a county footpath that they've laid tarmac on years and years and years and years.
Right. Okay. I'll have get Denise to write it in, and then I'll have a word with Paul and see what he thinks we can. Okay.
If it's just a matter of sweeping it, it'd be easy for us to just get it done. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm getting fed up of getting somebody all the way out from Leek to Barnett just to put a brush through a piece of ground. It just seems daft to me. But
yeah, it's like it's just how people are, though, isn't it? Because I mean, Mark's mum is 88.
Yeah.
I think it should.
the portion of the footpath in front of her house down High Lane, if it gets weeds and they're on, she's there clearing them off and she's brushing her portion of the footpath, and then other people just don't bother. It's just about pride, isn't it?
We constantly, since we've moved into Brownhill Road, Karen, have maintained the pathway at the back that links up onto Church Road. If we didn't do it, then it would just be a mess for us and tread it through the house. So we just do it.
I take a lot of the leaves by me and dump them on other people's footpaths.
We've spotted that, actually.
Gets it out of my way.
Yeah.
We should compost them all.
Yeah.
Give them to Nigel.
So what we're doing here, we're just going to deal with this as normal and count to see what the response is. But I'm going to take my brush up tomorrow and I'll make sure it's okay.
So sorry, I just nip off there, but is it the main one, top of Thelma Avenue?
Yeah, top of Thelma, that goes up past what's he called? He's been off of Watkins.
Bank End, Nige. It's where one comes up from Thelma Abbey and then it splits off both ways.
By J. Spalton's.
Yeah.
Keith Baker used to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know where it is.
Okay. So we'll deal with that when it comes up. Next one, Fiddler's Bank.
Do you want me to read out the response I've got back from the highways team on this one?
I think we're up to it's a serious thing, this is.
My officers have had a look at Fiddler's Bank issue, and I've got the correct location of this area. 200-metre length of a very minor single lane and one-way egress track, I think is how he's describing it. There's some outstanding pothole and overgrowth defects that require attention. Given the nature of the track and its low-level use and availability of better alternative local routes, these repairs will all have a low-level priority. The involved nature, this is a little in the way of construction depth. In other words, the road's not properly maintained and hasn't been a full road for very long by the sounds of it. Also mean the most feasible repair method to use would be a velocity patcher, if they can get it down there if the overhang isn't too much, which is only available during the summer months. So that's the conclusion of David Williams from the County Council at the moment, which he sent through to me on the 5th of January.
So I can give you a bit more news about that then, Keith, because remember when we met last time there, and Dave said he was going to get the team down. We did. They came and we got to the top, and we can't get down.
This is the problem. We can't get down the road because of the overhang.
No, they can't get down, and if so the county council have got nobody who can repair that road. Well, so I went up with 5 bags of cement and repaired it.
Right. Okay. Well done.
Okay.
But it's still down to it. I mean, what they're wondering in the longer term, it then goes on to say about the developing of highways issues and the handling of the parish council and everything else, is that we're going to have to find a collective resolution, and that includes the hedges that are overgrown at the moment. We need to have those severely cut back for whoever wants to repair it properly. And I don't know whether you saw anything on the TV recently, but JCB have developed yet another tool to JCB diggers and everything else. So that's the sort of thing they can do all year round and everything else. But even getting a JCB down there is not going to be easy with those overhanging branches. So
part of the problem, Keith, contrary to what the county council is saying, is that it's too well used, that road is. It's used all the time.
Right, okay.
Cement down, there came 3 bloody cars down, and I keep facing it off again. One of them's the post office, who uses it all the time.
Yeah.
Every day. So, and also,
I assume that's a small van, is it?
Yeah, that's a van. What's made it worse is that there was work being done on the house at the top. I can't remember which one now. Anyway, work being done, and 2 or 3 lads who were having a bit of fun drove like a wide dumper truck down there.
No, right, okay.
All right, and damaged all the sides, which is, as you know, that's
just
what there. Plus the fact that the van that went over the edge, there's some debate about this as well, but from the photographs that I've seen, that van and the way it was towed out, that van went up the one-way system the wrong way.
All right. Okay. Right.
Okay. Now, a bloke saw it and told me that it actually came down the other way. Now, I don't believe that's possible, but from what I've seen, but anyway, he went up the wrong. Well, now there's no, you can't. It's not the county council's fault. They can't be, responsible for stupidity, can they?
No.
And that's essentially what that was. Why that van went over the end was because the wheel that he couldn't see, the road collapsed.
Right. Okay.
Because he went on right on the wall. It was like it's actually a drive on the wall. It's a bit daft, really, but that's exactly how it is. So it's not one thing. So really and truly, to stop the problem, is you either make that road so it's a non-throughfare, or you get two bollards at the top, so that people can't get through with a wide vehicles.
Only cars and small vans. Yeah.
Yes, cars and small vans. Fine. That's the only way you're going to stop it.
Okay. Thank you for your information. I'll take that forward. I'll see what else David comes back with, and I'll talk it over with the officers as well. But I suggest that we add that then to the DHP issues that we mentioned earlier, the other three issues as well. So
I've actually got a lot of sympathy with the county, despite in around here, understanding the issue. It's not all their fault, it's because people are using it wrong. However, it's still the county's job to repair it.
Yeah.
The other issue, Keith, right, as you go up Chapel Lane, at one time it used to say unsuitable for motors.
Yes.
It doesn't. So people go up Chapel Lane with a big van, and they can't turn round at the top, so they have to go down that flipping road.
Right. Okay.
And it used to be two-way, didn't it?
Oh, well, that's a long time ago. That is crikey, Karen. Don't go on to that. But it did. But
You'll be telling me soon the school bus used to go down there as well as something, Yeah.
It used to be so narrow, and I've got this on first-hand authority, that when a police car was chasing you, you could get down in a Mini, but the police car would get stuck. When you come back from the top pub, you've had a bit too much to drink. That was a good route to take when you had a Mini.
I didn't think you'd get into the Italian job there, Peter. I must admit, I think there's a different story coming up there. I'll entertain the officers with that one, mate. I will.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Thank you. But if we can add it to the DHP things, and then at least I can still discuss it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just ask? Do you know the overgrown edges? Who do they belong to?
Farmers.
Right. Yeah, so on the right-hand side, it belongs to it used to be what's missing Mark Boynton's house down on the Vale. They've been approached 3 times, once by Linda, as far as I know, and twice by the former chairman, Alan Bassett, to ask him to if he could. They won't do it.
Right.
They won't, well, because they want the privacy, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. They don't want to do it. So the only way to resolve this is for the county council who are responsible for the road to write to them and to say, please will you cut your hedge back or we will recharge you.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll have to go and do it and charge on. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
And that ought to be enough to make them do it. I mean, we can do that, but we haven't got the authority to do it.
Well, this is the long-term issue that I've just, we've just been talking about is what the role of parish councils would be locally, because it seems to be what was a fairly small problem at the beginning has now become a very major problem.
Exactly.
And just because of the fact that we don't know who's in charge of what,
Yes.
And, we need. This is exactly the reason why local people and local councillors should work better together. This is the whole. Yeah.
To be honest,
it's also the greenest thing is to have local people look after local issues. Not to have people travelling hundreds of miles to come and do something and then realise they've got the wrong tool or can't get down the lane.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So we know where we are with that, really.
Okay.
Next thing is the youth club opportunity, an offer from a resident to start a youth club in Brown Edge. Sorry, Denise, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can, yeah.
I don't think I'm on mute. Yeah.
No.
A lady sent an email to say that she'd really like to start a youth club. She's got a teenager in the village, I think. But then she emailed me again and asked me to remove it from the agenda because she's not ready to do that. So I couldn't remove it because the agenda had already been published. So if we can postpone that till the next meeting or the meeting after, when she contacts me again.
Okay, I think that's a good, sensible thing to do. So the next item then is cul-de-sac, request via website to reinstate the sign underneath Marshall Avenue sign at the junction of Cross Edge.
Okay.
I think the cul-de-sac sign's gone missing.
Okay.
Didn't we say we were going to go around and look at different signs that needed replacing? Because half a dozen are like tattered.
Yeah, they are.
Neil, you're absolutely right. One before we, I mean, if we're going to spend some money or we are going to do the signs around the village, then we ought to do a sign audit.
I've seen myself at the Dingles hanging on by a thread. I think we did. Didn't we do Brown Hills Road? Or Brown Hills Road was the first one that brought it up.
That's right.
So, you know, it might be worth just doing a clean sweep and getting rid of all the old wooden ones and replace it.
Yeah, okay, so the proposal then is really we go around the village and have a look and come up with a list for the next meeting, is that right? I think we need to pay particular attention to this one though and find out what's happened to this. So will everybody just go and have a look at this sign and so we can make some recommendations as to what to do with it.
Okay.
It's gone missing somewhere, so we'll see if we can find it. Someone will know where it is. Next thing is Parish Assembly, so I'll be attending that.
No agenda yet, by the way, but we will be thought of it. It's likely that Joe might be attending that meeting if he's still listening in. So hopefully he'll be maybe attending that meeting to promote a few of his ideas and things going on at the moment, Joe.
Yes, I am on the agenda to address the next parish assembly to discuss climate change. So I will be giving a full update.
So I shan't, no heckling, Joe, I'll be all right. Be gentle to you. Next one, consultation. Provisional local government finance settlement for 2012 to 22 here. Deadline is on the 16th.
Sorry, my mistake there. Basically, this document came through on the SPCA newsletter, and I was scanning through it, and actually, I thought this is actually really important. So I thought I'd bring it to your attention, even though you may have already seen it. So if I scroll to the questions page, so there's absolutely loads of, it's obviously about 40-page document, but on page 23, I think. Right, these are the questions that the government are asking. So you can fill it in as an individual, or we can fill it in as a council.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to be able to do this here, you know, because obviously there's a big document here. Has anybody got any views about this or want to progress things, or should we ask councillors to fill it in as individuals?
I think it'd be difficult to fill it in as a council, so I think people should, if they want to, should fill it in as individuals.
Okay.
There's potential for me having conflict of interest there if I fill it in individually.
Why?
Because it's my job. If I'm commenting on new housing.
No, as an individual, you can comment on it. If you're actually part of the parish council, you wouldn't be able to. Yeah, there's no conflict if you respond to this as an individual person. It's only if you are in a position as a councillor to comment. There's no conflict. Okay.
No.
So you're clear, there's no conflict.
And is it just your own, if you want to do it, you can, and if you don't, you don't?
That's right, yeah. Okay, we're all okay with that? Is that the way we want to deal with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's keep going. Thank you for that. So that's consultation. Funding opportunity for community projects for 2021. Appendix 10.
Sorry. So this is basically what big funds are available this coming year. I think there's another two pages of these. So this architectural heritage, I don't know whether that might come in for the Hollybush project. So it's
Definitely.
contributing to the transformation of high streets.
Right. Town centres. Okay.
So that document's there if you want to have a look through.
The Football Foundation one, that one, that was looking at that the other day. Could we possibly have a football pitch on the village using that?
Yeah, if we can find a location. I've been looking for 50 years, the village of.
Yeah. The trouble is, Karen, everybody wants one, but nobody wants one by them.
Yeah.
So as long as nobody wants to buy them. As long as you've got people like that want to stop everything from being by them, you'll never get a village. You'll never get a pitch on this village.
Right. Okay.
So let's not give up with that yet, Neil.
No, I'm not. But
you know,
my best days are behind me, Pete. You know.
I know, mate.
Yeah, but Nate's are ahead of him.
Yeah. I think I'm the only captain of Brown Edge that never played a match on Brown Edge.
Yeah.
This one at the bottom could be good for Linda. One-stop community partnership, groundwork are offering community groups that are tackling food poverty or supporting the elderly. So Linda would be eligible for that one.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a look through them, see if any of you want me to have a go.
Yeah.
There's loads.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, when you look at it, there's things that we should definitely be looking at here for the Hollybush project.
Definitely. Yep.
Okay. Okay. That's for information. So items on notice then. Council Woodward, Marshes Hill, damaged by quad bikes.
Yeah, I don't know whether you saw the photograph I sent through, but basically there's quad bikes been going up on the strip of land like a triangle in between what's known as the level and the road going up towards Top Pub. I don't really know what we can do, but I think we ought to do something to try and stop it.
The only thing you can do there is stick a bollard top and bottom or a tree or something. Other than that, there's not a great deal you can do, is there?
I actually saw the 4 offending people, Phil. There was a group of 4 on quad bikes.
Yeah, so with all due respect, if you put bollards there, I don't think it'd stop them, would it?
Would they just go up the side of them and take another path?
I guess so, yeah.
I think this comes back to the wider issue that we've discussed a lot, that there is absolutely nowhere in North Staffordshire for this type of adventure activity, and that falls into all the same categories, whether it be mountain biking, quad biking, any of that kind of thing. There just is not the provision. And, you know, whilst there's no provision for anything like that, and I'm not saying in Brown Edge, but in the area, then people are just going to use whatever they feel free to use. And, you know, I've got some stuff to talk about with Keith. You know, one of the sort of areas locally that might be of interest, and I didn't realise until a couple of weeks ago, there's a big disused quarry at Hurst, in between Biddulph Moor and Biddulph.
Yeah.
And, you know, actually pushing all of this kind of activity into a focused area might reduce all of this illegal activity and might help the whole region. So I don't know whether it's a matter of simply putting bollards up or whether we've got to think about the bigger picture and actually legitimise this kind of activity in the area.
I'm not sure. I am aware there's been a number of people bought the children quad bikes for Christmas. Now, whether that's anything to do with it or not, but I think there are more quad bikes on the village now than there've ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some at the bank end when we were doing sledging.
I can go up tomorrow with a bag of nails. That'll stop that.
Yeah. So come on then, what are we going to do about it? I think you're right. And if you put a bollard up there, it's not going to do a lot because they just go somewhere else, won't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
It is a footpath up there. So a couple of other things you could do, I suppose, is you could raise the bottom bit because it's a bank. You could lift that up so that when they come off, they've got a great big drop and they can't get up it either. So I think this is a case of just going and having a look at it and seeing what we could do.
Is it a case that it may be somebody on the village or their children and they don't know that it's a place of natural beauty? So could we put out some publicity on the website and Facebook and everything to say that you shouldn't be doing it?
Yeah, I think we should do that anyway. Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's worth a try, Karen. Yeah, that's free.
Yeah.
And it might just hit home a little bit. And maybe at the same time we publicise, because I suspect they've been in the local park with them as well. I know they've been on Keith's car park with them. Maybe we publicise where they aren't allowed to go.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay, Neil.
To be fair as well, it's not just quad bikes. I know people have been up there in Land Rovers. So
yeah.
Even if you put a bank a bit at the bottom, people are going to get over it. And then on the flip side as well, you get horses going up there as well. So the whole footpath thing, it is used by anybody and everybody going up there. It always has been as well, not just recently with quads.
Just the mechanical stuff just changes it all up worse than a horse, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They see one person going up and off one thing, and
I think that's right. It's definitely worse now than it's ever been. Okay.
Maybe we should just give every house a letter about it.
Yeah. Well, let's just publicise it first off, anyway.
Yeah.
Is it worth contacting the police? And in the Facebook article mentioning we contacted the police.
Yeah. Notice, I think you're right about saying you can't use them in the playing field either.
Or do we try the softly approach first?
I think that is softly for me.
Well,
you know what I mean? I mean, it's just asking people not to use it is quite a reasonable thing, isn't it, first?
It is, yeah.
Well, if they knew it was a place of natural beauty, perhaps they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, that's right. Okay, so we'll agree then that we'll go up something again on Facebook and also perhaps even the parish news and stuff, and see if we can make some improvements as a starting point. Okay.
I still think, Peter, though, that we need to think about how we get that kind of thing moving in the future, and it's not for tonight, but certainly, how we can make provision.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'll put down quarry before you spoke, Adrian, but never mind.
Okay.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good point, though, Adrian. I think we've got to think about it. It's out of our area. That is, if there's anything in our area, we can do directly. But other than that, all we do is bring it up to our district councillors to use their ability to move it forward. So next one is move that the council writes to the Royal Mail about the removal of the post box on High Lane, asking for it to be reinstated. So we haven't got a mailbox. We haven't got a mailbox in the village. It's absolutely stupid why we haven't got one. As you remember, we wrote to post office before, which is the post office counters, and they said they had nothing to do with them. I suspect what's happened here. No, I'm not in. Well, I suspect it's been taken away, not by Royal Mail.
Oh.
Okay, so we should at least tell them that this has gone missing, this mailbox, and that we would like it to be put back.
Yeah, because they have had them being stolen in other areas, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
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 They're worth a
I'll
lot of
second that
money on
then.
the second-hand market.
It may be that it's been put somewhere for safekeeping, I don't know. But all I'll say is that we need to be writing to the post office and telling them that it's gone missing and we would like a post box in the village, please.
Yeah. I've seconded that.
Is it not
Okay,
easier
second
to?
that. We're all in favour of that.
Yeah.
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 So,
Is it not easier to just ask Morris and Criffy?
ask them what?
If they
Well,
saw
it-
somebody steal it.
Well, I don't think that solves the issue because they've got nothing to do with Royal Mail.
No.
They're employed by post office counters. It's Royal Mail's responsibility to fix the issue.
Right.
Yeah, I've got a sneaky feeling that it was on their land, so I suspect that's been an issue.
Right.
Yeah, so okay, so we're right to try and get it reinstated. And Council Wood said move that the backside above steps in Sitch Road is cleared by the grounds maintenance contractor.
Yeah, that's become dangerous now. That's just above the well on Sitch Road.
Yeah. It has. The tree one's cutting back. Also, I actually think that in the future we've got to think about trying to get that built up more, that footpath, because it stops too early, doesn't it, Phil?
Yeah.
Well, it's like made up in steps, but it stops too early. When you're coming down there and it's wet, you end up blooming skidding down anyway.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So we're all in favour of that. We ask our maintenance contractor to kind of just at least get it fit for walk on. Yeah, all in favour of that.
Yeah.
I think it is important to get it done. It is dangerous. Phil's absolutely right. Another one from Council Wood here. Move that bulbs and plants at the plot at the top of Job's Pool can be purchased or the volunteer and be reimbursed for a maximum of £50. So in other words, we've got a volunteer who wants to plant this up. As you know, Linda's not quite as active as she used to be for health reasons, and we got one of the member of her team who wants to kind of carry on the good work here.
Yeah, it is a member of Linda's team that's requested this.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure. There has been something done similar before. I'm not quite sure where the money's come from previously, but I know this particular volunteer was asked to do it on another plot and did do it and wasn't reimbursed the money. So that's why I've formalised it by moving it through the parish council.
Okay. So what do we think? Should we support him this way?
Yeah.
I personally don't see why the heck we shouldn't. It's our ground, it's our land. Somebody's willing to do this.
Which plot is it? It isn't the triangle in the middle of Job's Pool, is it?
It is, yes. Yeah.
It is, yes.
What, where the roses are?
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to put some plants around there, summer plants.
All right. That's going to cause a maintenance issue. Isn't there enough plants in there? Is there somewhere else they could be put?
I don't know. They've specifically asked for that plot.
But there's already flowers on there anyway.
Yeah. So
I think what we need to do, actually, Phil, we need to ask Phil, who's the chap who wants to do it, exactly what he wants to do here. And
Yeah, let's find out exactly what he proposes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if it's sensible, are we in favour of it? I mean, that's the thing. And we just need to make sure that it doesn't get interfere with what Nigel does, cutting the grass, or the plants are going to come up and Nigel's team are going to cut them off or anything.
We wouldn't want that. I'll find out from them if it's agreed in principle, and I'll let Nigel know what is proposed. And if Nigel's in agreement, can we go forward with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds a logical thing. Neil, before we...
Could you ask whoever wants to do it if they just want to take it on themselves and do the lot, and then that's something less than night, and they're in charge of doing it.
Well, they wouldn't want to take on the grass cutting. They're a pensioner. I don't think they'd want to take on that. They've been doing the rose bushes for a couple of years now, and helping out on the village with Linda's team.
Oh, so the one on Joe's pool, Phil, that's the people who've cut the roses back, is it?
Yeah. It is, yes, yeah.
Right, I'm glad we said that, because I was going to cut them back further this time.
Well, they need cutting back.
Can I say properly?
They haven't done them this year, Nigel, because of COVID and shielding and a variety of other things, really.
Well, somebody's cut them back.
Somebody has, yeah.
He may well have done it then. I don't know.
Yeah, they won't cut them back. That's how he cut back roses.
Have they been done recently?
Yeah.
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 They just won't cutting back properly in spring, don't they?
I think they should be done in February, ideally.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we've kind of come to the conclusion then, really, into that, Phil, we're going to go speak to the gentleman concerned, find out exactly what it is he's going to do. Well, in principle, I'm sure the council's not got a problem with supporting him in this way.
Okay.
You know,
thank you.
I'm sure we haven't. I mean, I'll just check with everybody. Are we all okay with this, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we just don't want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with what the maintenance in any way, and that's fair enough. Until we can check on that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with anybody doing that.
Yeah. Okay, Denise.
For a receipt, can I just ask for a receipt if any bulbs are purchased, please?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you.
Okay, so that's good. I mean, we need to encourage people to do this anyway. It's great that they do. So, you know.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to discourage anybody doing anything, but it's.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, Nigel. It can't affect the maintenance, can it? It's not fair.
It isn't affecting the maintenance, but we can do it in such a way that it looks better and it can be maintained more easily.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Did you want something, Karen? Did I spot your hand going up?
Just thinking about the flowers that we put around all the wells, who pays for them? Because we all paid for the one in Sandy Lane this last time, and we've already bought some spring flowers to repot them. So, but if there's money going.
So what's tended to happen in the past is that Linda's always got money in her handbag. That's the best way to describe it. And she's funded all sorts of stuff without coming to the parish council.
Right.
Loads and loads and loads of things. Some of it, I think, comes from a district council fund, but people don't even realise what money she spent herself personally on all these things.
Yeah.
And that's what's difficult, I think, Aaron, right? You know what I mean? She's done loads and loads and loads of stuff. And, you know, I don't know, it's all that on Bank End, all that on by the well, and she's done all that.
Yeah.
And
I'm just thinking, though, if some people are getting money for their area, and then there is other areas all around the village, so will we have a queue of people turning up for...
Hey, I hope we do.
So we've already bought spring flowers for all them troughs we've got on there now. But we'll have to replace them again near the summertime.
It's this kind of thing, isn't it, that some folks will give and not want anything back.
Yeah.
You know, and some folks won't do it without getting the money. It's just how people are. And there's no way you can, you know, get that right. It's a bit like the village hall, isn't it, when people want to hire the village hall. I worked on it for running 20 years. I made sure that the first event that was ever happened at the village hall was my mum's, the first paid event was, you know, my mum's funeral. And I've worked on it for 36 years, and I made sure that I paid for it. Everything, it's the same. You've got to do it like that, or else as soon as you start getting this thing in where some people are getting, some people aren't, I think that's a difficult thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a difficult
thing.
That's
what I mean.
Yeah. It's very difficult.
So if yeah.
I personally, I mean, I've had this discussion with Linda about the maintenance that she does on the, you know, so all that kind of work that she does and getting plants and all that stuff. I don't think she should be doing it, but how can you stop somebody who wants to do it? You know, you can't, can you? It's the parish council's job to do this.
She enjoys doing it as well, doesn't she? It's something.
Yeah.
I've been out with her a couple of times. She's good.
Yeah. So I don't think there's an answer to that, Karen, really. I think we just got to brush that problem away a little bit, I think. It's not an easy one.
Can I just ask another question and then I'll shut up? Do you know the pub at the end of the road here it's Keith's workshop area on the front? Judas come and told me that it looks a sight because the weeds are waist high. So whose responsibility is that?
Okay, so if it's on the footpath and there are weeds there at the front, that's the footpaths are the district council, I'm right in saying, I think, and sweeping footpaths, I think footpaths is the district council. This is where it gets very wrong. If it's maintenance of the footpath, then that's the county council.
Correct.
They like up to the height of the road sign.
And that's because they've not been maintained and they've not been swept. We haven't had the footpath swept and down edge for ages. So
Can we get that done then?
I can actually book street cleaning if you want me to book.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Can you give me the exact road name?
Well, it's on High Lane, but I don't. What is that? Is it the old lump of coal?
Roebuck. So this is our items for matters for the county council. So we'll take this, but can we stick to the agenda if we could?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So it was exactly the right point to raise it, Karen, because it's item 14, which is what we're
next item. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Next item, though. Have we got anything else for the district or county council? No, they've had a good bashing tonight, haven't they? Really. Next item is.
Can I say goodbye? You know the normal routine. I know I've seen more than I perhaps should have done. But as I'm on the planning committee, I now need to disappear. So can I wish you all a happy new year, and hopefully things will get better. And I hope that we'll talk again shortly. And I hope some of you will turn up on the 16th because there's a lot of issues that we've been discussing around tonight that we need to try and finalise a few more things on. So okay, so I see some of you on the 16th. Thanks very much. Cheers, Joe. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for your donation, Keith.
Thanks
for your donation.
Oh yeah, thanks. Cheers. I'll have to sort that one out. We'll sort this out on the 16th, young man. Anyway, all right. Cheers then. Thank you. Cheers. Bye bye.
Okay, so next item is planning. So we're at 10 o'clock here now. We're in overtime. Okay, so this is for Reed Armour Corps 199 High Lane Brown Edge, proposed repositioning of a fire escape staircase. Okay, so this is Keith's car park, as was. Okay. And so they're moving now. Our work got that now. Right, I couldn't work this out what it is.
So they want to remove it on the back onto the side. It looks so as they can build houses. Yeah.
So they can build the houses there. Okay. Anybody got any proposal, any views, or any comments to pass?
No.
No objections.
No objections. Okay, next one then is Mr. J. Watkins, land off Hilltop Brown Edge, erection of mixed-use agricultural storage, tack room, and a single stable building. Most of you won't be able to remember Chicken George, but Chicken George was a major problem for the district council on this land because Chicken George put the most foul-smelling chicken place built of tyres and goodness knows what so that he could get planning permission on this piece of ground. Okay, so I'll just make you aware of that.
Is it where the sheep are?
No. It's the other side, isn't it? Let's have a look at that, actually. I'm said no, but I'm just going to look at that because that doesn't...
Yeah, it's the other side, Pete.
It's the other side, isn't it? That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the angle of it there. It's the other side. It's the other side of the Chapel Cottages, that field, the other side.
Yeah.
It's like bolts up to the entrance to the hilltop, of the Marshes Hill. In the past, he scraped off most of the soil. This is this applicant as well, I think. I'm pretty sure, might be wrong, but somebody scraped off the soil there and had to put it back in because it looked quite clearly that they were going to try and build a house there. They put an application for a house in that field, it's been turned down. That isn't clearly what this application is. This application is just simply for a agricultural storage, tack room and single stable building.
I've got no problem with it.
Is that to the side of the building that's already there? Well, kind of a building.
No.
Was that green area? Is it? Yeah, okay.
So you might think is why are they putting an application in for an agricultural building like this? Well, I think the clue that there is that it's got block work on it. Okay, and if it's got block work on it, then the district council are very sensitive about that because it's like can be converted down. Once you get planning permission for this, then you can then perhaps get a because it's a brownfield site in the future, and you can get a house on there.
Conversion to a house.
Conversion to a house. That's not our problem at all. I feel anyway. This is an application for an agricultural building, and it's on that basis that we've got to look at it.
I've got no problem with it.
Is there any agriculture? What are they using it for? Have they got a horse or something?
Oh, I suspect they could use it for a horse, couldn't they?
But are they? Is that why they want it?
I don't think there's a horse on there at the moment.
Because they haven't got a stable.
Why do they need a building then?
What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Yeah, that's you know.
What can we object to?
I don't think we can object to it personally. I just think it's an application for that, and then the district council, the ones who've got the worry about if it's going to be converted to a house in Greenbelt in the future.
But shouldn't that be our concern, then?
No,
I don't think it is. We go, it's for us. Is it a suitable position to put what is down there described as?
Well, I think the principles are the same. For us, it's a structure in a green belt field. Do we support it, object to it, or have no comments? Simple as that. Whether it's a house or whether it's an agricultural building, does it matter to us? It's a structure in a field, isn't it?
I suppose so. And do you want a structure in the field on the green belt?
Exactly.
No.
Whether it's a house or whether it's an agricultural building, to me, doesn't matter. And I don't think it should matter to the parish council. We've got to decide whether we want a building on green belt land. And I don't think we do.
I don't want one.
I don't mind one.
You love buildings, don't you?
No, I just don't see what, if they've got a horse, they want somewhere for it, let them have it. All this, they might do this, they might do that. They aren't. They're doing this.
Well, there's other sheds, Neil, of a wooden structure, a lot smaller, that are more appropriate for horses.
if you're thinking about designs, and that's a design thing. But
Yeah, okay, so I think that's a fair comment there. I think that both of you are right. Both of you are right. If you think that that's over development of the site for a pony or whatever it is, agricultural building, then that's what we should say.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a roller shutter door in it. Is that really necessary for a pony?
Well, it's a storage, you see. Yes.
Well,
I will say this: I don't know much about horses, but if you're keeping horse-related stuff in somewhere, there's a lot of market for that being broken into and nicked. So
Yeah.
you need the
Well-
most security you can get.
when you walk up Broad Lane, and they do keep horses, and they've got really beautiful stables there, and they're all wood. They're totally wood,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they
But
look
the building
gorgeous.
opposite is like this structure that's proposed here. That's an unsightly type of block concrete.
Yeah.
Those
type of
stables
structure.
up Broad Lane are beautiful.
They are, yes, I agree. But what I'm saying, Karen, is the building opposite the stables is something similar that's unsightly, that like this has been proposed.
Yeah.
If it's a wooden stable block, I'd have no problem with it.
No, I wouldn't.
I agree.
So,
It's not in keeping with the top of there, is it?
No, no. So I'm proposing we object to it.
on what basis then, Phil?
On overdevelopment.
Okay.
And it's green belt.
Hmm.
We can put agricultural buildings in Greenbelt.
Soon there'll be no green left up the top of Hilltop.
Yeah.
There's already 4 houses being built.
That's not on this site. This is a horse site.
I know. Just down the road, isn't it?
100 yards, yeah.
So I'd just like to remind that we've got a shed bigger than that on our allotments.
Yeah, but
Which
it's
was-
a wooden shed piece.
Yeah, which
This
was-
is a big concrete structure
yeah.
with presumably metal frame and metal clad. It's like 2-story in effect.
It is metal clad. It's on the plans. It's green. It's
exactly.
juniper green metal
I'm
sheets.
not supporting them here, by the way, but having said that, anything less than that in that spot, and it'd be down the flipping Norton Green, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? It's like it's right at the most exposed piece of ground on Brown is, that is.
Is it 10 metres square as well and 12 foot high?
Okay.
Well, it's 10 metres square and it's 30.
Shire horses.
Right.
Yeah, it's 10 metres square.
And yeah.
Well, it's 10 by 6.
Big as a house, isn't it?
Yep.
It even says on the plan what they're planning on keeping in the front. That's why you need the roller shutter and you need the security. They're putting machinery in there. You don't want some shed that's going to be broken by a pikey and everything's gone.
A tractor, yeah.
They've got to secure their own stuff, surely. They're entitled to secure their own things.
Yeah, it isn't alongside the gentleman's own house either. That's the other thing. He lives some off, I think. I don't know where he lives. I think he may well live. He lives on the village, I think, or used to do.
I think comments wise, if you want to object it based on aesthetics, that's one thing. Objecting
Yeah.
the building in general is something quite different. They're entitled to a building.
Yeah.
They're entitled to look after their own stuff. They're entitled to want to do what they want to do. If you're bothered about the look of it, then object to that.
Yeah.
Well, there's been 2 proposals, no seconders.
So can we have a proposal then? Somebody propose it quite clearly and see if we can get something moving here.
I propose that. We make comments about the aesthetics of it,
Yeah.
but other than that,
Okay.
And I propose that we refuse or object on the basis of its green belt and its overdevelopment of green belt land.
Okay. All right, have we got a seconder for either of those proposals then? One, if I sum it up, one is that we object to the aesthetics of the building. And the other one, we object to the fact that it's overdevelopment in the green belt, or the assumption it is, because I'm not absolutely convinced about that, because it's for the kind of building it is, agricultural building.
I'll go with Neil. Second Neil.
So we object. So we would object
the aesthetics.
About the aesthetics. Okay.
Yeah.
Have we got a seconder for the objection because it's overdevelopment in the green belt?
Yeah.
So that's okay. So we've got two proposals. That's great fun. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do then now is we're going to vote on the first proposal, which was to object to the aesthetics. Okay, so those in favour of that objecting to the aesthetics of it, and actually, to be honest with you, I don't think these two things are mutually exclusive, to be honest with you.
I think they'd have similar.
No.
So
They are really similar.
We could object to both things here, or we could not object to both things. So I'm going to take the first one first, and that is this.
Can I just clarify there, Chair, that we can object to, each councillor can object to both things then?
Yeah, that's my taking, because they are two separate motions.
Yes, it isn't one versus the other.
No. They're two separate motions, these are. Okay. So the first motion we've got is to object to it on aesthetic grounds. Okay, we've got proposal second. Who's in favour? Please show. Well, I'll talk as well. So looks like we're all in favour of rejecting on aesthetic grounds. Okay. The next thing is overdevelopment in the green belt. Okay, so those of you that object to that, please show. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's it.
What about you, Pete?
Well, okay, I'll vote against that as well. Okay, so that's that.
So we are objecting on both accounts?
Rejecting on both accounts, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Next then is the Mrs. D. Evans, Land Off Breach Road, Brown Edge, pre-planning application correspondence. So we're not making a decision here. This is a pre-planning application correspondence. Now we've had a similar thing before, as you're all aware, and we made it clear to Mrs. Evans and her agent that we are not going to pass any comments about whether we approve of this or not. Okay, because if we did, we're querying, we are, I can't remember the word, we've got bias. In other words, we're kind of telling everybody that we're got bias. But she's asked us to look at this so that we're aware of it. And I think that's okay. We can do that. You are aware of it now. You can see this. My concern about not just this, not about this application at all. My concern is that this is just the start. This is a piece of green belt, and they're going for a draft scheme of 14 affordable homes, which have been worked up. An indicative site layout plan is attached, blah, blah, blah. The proposed affordable housing would be a mix of 2 to 3 bedroom family homes. Okay, so these are eco homes, I understand. I'm not read it there, but I understand that these are eco homes, which is like low cost homes, and they're all affordable. Now, the reason why this is coming in, my understanding is that there's been other applications like this throughout the country in Greenbelt which have received approval. Okay, so this is why we need to make sure that the neighbourhood plan completes its job and does assessment on every site, so that if sites like this come in, we are able to say we've got a preferred choice rather than this one, or we don't like this site because of these things, other than just Greenbelt. Because if we're assuming that Greenbelt is going to protect the village, then we're wrong. It's not. And this is the evidence, this is the proof of what I'm saying.
The problem is, we're going to end up, if we carried on, we'd end up just full of houses down to Endon and full of houses down to Norton Green. And if Stoke-on-Trent City Council have their way, we'll just be part of Stoke-on-Trent City Council. There won't be a need for parish councillors.
No, if Stoke-on-Trent City Council have their way, then we will be part of Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah, we will.
That happened to Milton, Karen. I know that seems strange, but I grew up in Milton as a village, and it just got consumed. The first phase was the houses from Milton down to Carmount side, and then the second phase and the biggest phase was all the bottom end. And if we're not careful, the village will cease to become a village.
Okay, so we haven't got to make any decision on this, so I really don't want much more of a discussion about this actual application, because we are then, showing that we are biased from one particular way or another. So we must not refrain from doing that. All this is there for, because they've asked us to look at it, because they think it's right that we should look at it. And secondly, I think it's an opportunity that councillors realise that we've got to continue with the neighbourhood plan to make sure we've done thorough assessments of each of these sites, so that we've got reasons why we can object to it other than Greenbelt.
I mean, I'm fully in agreement with there being more affordable houses in the village, because people can't afford to live here who were born here. And that's why at Keith's car park, I was shocked to see that they're all 4-bedroomed houses. Should have put more affordable on that.
So there'll never be any affordable houses in what most people think on Brown Edge. There will never be.
It should be, though, because people's children can't afford to live here.
No, but that's whether what you want or not. The problem is that Brown Edge is in demand for houses, and that's what can push price of houses up.
But it doesn't stop you from building cheaper houses for them, does it?
Well, Brown Edge has got more cheap houses been built for it than any other parish for miles around. So, just got to watch for that, haven't you? There's more terrace property on Brown Edge, more so-called cheap property on Brown Edge, council houses, cardboard houses, terraced houses than other local communities. So, I understand, and by the way, Karen, I've got children who don't live on the village anymore. They moved away, and mine's luckily I've got two that stay here. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I've got 50% of my children here as well.
Yeah, that's right, and that's one of the reasons why we want to do what we do with the Hollybush car park. To be honest with you, so we can have starter homes. Affordable homes and starter homes are different things, by the way. So and that's these people's argument, and people's argument. We need more starter homes, we need more affordable houses, so we can break the rules on Greenbelt because of it. And that's got some support in government circles, obviously, because they've got planning permission.
You can't dictate who buys them. That's the thing. You can make them as cheap as you want, but if people are buying them to rent out, they'll buy them before.
That's exactly right, Neil.
Get in.
What we can do on the Hollybush car park, actually, by the way, and not the whole car park, but if we have got houses above, there are ways that we can do it so that people can start their house purchases, and we can restrict who it is that do that purchasing as well. We are able to do that. Yeah, but only in specific ways. So
getting back to this one, we can't really say much about it, can we?
no, I don't think we should. I don't think we should express an opinion whether it's a good or a bad thing. I think what we should just bear in mind that this is going to happen all over the village.
So is there anything that we can do to speed the neighbourhood plan up?
Yeah, we've got to get going with it again. And that's it. And we took a big step in agreeing that, you know, Denise would be paid for doing that. That was a big step for the parish council to take. Okay, so we have got some support now for the neighbourhood plan committee to move forward. We're actually a lot further forward than I thought we were. To be truthful, all we've got to do is now is to get these site assessments done. Which the things we've got to do before that, get the site assessment done against our criteria, and that's it. That's, you know, that's what we've got to do to get the site assessment done, and then we move on to the next stage. So for the next 2 months, I think we should be in a position where ACOM have actually done that assessment for us. Apparently they made a big mistake, and they've got to come back and do those assessments. So when they came round and just looked and said they can't do it because it's in green belt, they were wrong. And they've got to come. They haven't been paid for it for their work. They've got to come back and do it for us. So, so anyway, so that's where we are with that. Next thing then is matters pertaining to issues in the parish for the next agenda. Have we got anything to put on the agenda for next month? No, okay. Before I close the meeting, I just want to thank Neil for keeping the Christmas spirit going. Merry Christmas to you for next year.
Having the meeting in his dressing gown.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's like having UF in here, isn't
it? Absolutely right. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and thanks for putting up with us for such a long, it's a massive agenda tonight, and we got through a lot of stuff, including the budget, which I'm very grateful for. Okay, so thank you very much. All right.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, Denise, are you okay? Look?
Yeah. Thank you, Pete. Yeah, thank you for, and I wanted to thank everybody that's helped with that budget as well, because it's been a bit of a big one. But
it has, yeah.
Yeah.
But we got that done. I'm glad about that. We got through that, which is good news. Let me just
at least that document.
Bear me just a second, please, Denise. Okay. Just
Okay.